is for, and those countries made that very clear every time the president asked for that assistance.
9 Americans have now been confirmed dead in the aftermath of the major earthquakes that hit Venezuela last month. More than 3,000 bodies have been found, only a fraction of the 40,000 reported missing. Engineers are being called to the former Pfizer building in Manhattan, leaning after 2 beams buckled during conversion to apartments. The FDNY is fearing a partial collapse. That area is evacuated. You're listening to ABC News.
Of all the wireless companies in America, only one has 5 stars in every category from Consumer Reports, and that company is Pure Talk. Coverage, support, value, data. 5 stars across the board. Plus, no service contracts and no cancellation fees. Just phenomenal U.S. customer service on a crazy fast 5G network. Dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to a 5-star American wireless company that won't let you down. Pure Talk.
Ever wonder why you have insurance for your car or home, but not your digital life? Meet WebRoot Total Protection, your digital bodyguard that includes antivirus, identity protection, VPN, cloud backup, and more. With plans for individuals and families, WebRoot takes the guessing game out of cybersecurity so you can get back to living your best life online. Go to webroot.com/protect and get 60% off today. That's webroot.com/protect to get 60% off today. Live a better digital life with WebRoot, because peace of mind shouldn't be optional.
Well, Lionel Messi's done it again at the World Cup. The Argentinian great scoring once, inspiring his team to a 3-2 victory over Egypt, despite trailing by 2 goals with just 11 minutes to go. Tennis, U.S. Open, American Coco Gauff defeating fellow American Jessica Pegula. ABC's Mike Dubusky says the next Olympics probably will include Russia.
Many more Russian athletes are likely headed to the upcoming Summer Olympics in 2028. This after the International Olympic Committee lifted a suspension that had only allowed a small number of Russian athletes to compete under a neutral flag. The IOC imposed that suspension following Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
Ukraine President Zelensky is due to meet President Trump at the NATO summit, likely asking for Patriot missile defenses. Trump says he spoke with Vladimir Putin and thinks Russia wants to make a deal to end the war. While Taylor Swift honeymoons, a federal judge in Florida has dismissed a lawsuit against her by a poet who says that Swift stole themes and ideas from her poetry. Kimberly Marasco named several songs, including The Man, which he says infringed on her poem Ordinary Citizen, which reads, "I'm running behind, you say it's his word against mine." The Taylor Swift lyric goes, "I'm so sick of running as fast as I can, wondering if I'd get there quicker if I was a man." These are quintessential themes, says the judge, not protected. Wayne Cabot, ABC News.
Of all the wireless companies in America, only one has 5 stars in every category from Consumer Reports, and that company is Pure Talk. Coverage, support, value, data. 5 stars across the board. Plus, no service contracts and no cancellation fees. Just phenomenal U.S. customer service on a crazy fast 5G network. Dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to a 5-star American wireless company that won't let you down. Pure Talk.
Picture streams in our community. That's where our kids play and dogs splash. And some of these streams provide the water we drink. But is the water in these streams clean and safe? The truth is, for most local streams, no one knows. That's a problem. One the Isaac Walton League can help you solve with the Clean Water Challenge. For almost 50 years, the Isaac Walton League of America has helped people just like you test the water in local streams, clean up pollution, and protect healthy waters. Today, the Isaac Walton League has an ambitious new goal: engage volunteers across the country to test 100,000 more streams for pollution. You can protect clean water in our community by joining the Clean Water Challenge. To get involved, visit iwla.org. That's iwla.org.
WPHT, HD, WOGL, HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the Power of One with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Free speech lives here. The WPHT Afternoon Show.
Wow! He's been around this town a time or two. Knows the stories and he knows the crew. Matt and Justin, that is. Join Tommy on Talk Radio. 1210 WPHT.
Welcome to the afternoon show. This is Tom Azelby, your host, from 3 to 6 today. We're going to have a very busy schedule today. We got 4 guests coming on in 3 hours, unless Justin surprises me like he did on Friday and says, you have another hour. It's 4 hours, 5 minutes before the show. But that wasn't Justin's fault. That's nobody's fault. We got it done. It doesn't make a difference. We could be here for 8 hours, right, guys?
I don't know about 8.
Yeah, neither do. I'm only kidding. I just wanted a reaction. That's all I want is a reaction. Okay, what do we have? Every Saturday you got me 8 to 9. Every Saturday morning wrapping up the news of the week. You got Rich Zioli, his podcast 6 to 7 every night here on 1210 WPHT, and my producers Matt DeSantis and Justin Otero. And I do want to give a plug for the 39th annual Bend to the Shore Kale and Company. They're all riding down there. This is for the families behind the badge. You can donate at bendtotheshore.org. And I'm going to give you what guests I got coming up, and then I'm going to get right to my guest because she's bringing us the breaking news out of Maine with Graham Plattner, and we're going to get to Katrina Smith, who's a Maine representative. And let me tell you, she was on back in May. She called this back in May, and she's going to talk to us this afternoon and tell us exactly what's going on. I'm going to be with her in 1 minute. We have a guest, Jenny Beth Martin. We're going to talk about our republic at 250 years. The challenge is, can we keep it? She wrote an article for the Washington Examiner. And she was a co-founder of the Tea Party Patriots, which I found very interesting. And I want to talk to her about that history, too. So we're going to get into that. Then we're going to get into my guest, Keegan Tinney. And Keegan was a high school football player in Joplin, Missouri, when a tornado, an E5, struck his town. And he was at graduation that day. He had to get home, but his dad ran the EMS services. And at 18, he had just gotten some training. And he would show up at that horrible event. And it's on Netflix. You know, I'm just flipping through the TV. I see it. I see him speaking in the documentary. And I said, I'd like to have that guy on my radio show. And that was just 2 days ago. And now he's going to be on with us in the 4 o'clock hour to tell us about the Netflix documentary. But he's really going to tell us about his experience. This thing was a horrifying tornado. If you watch the documentary, it's called The Twister, Caught in the Storm. Then, 5:30, we got the former mayor of Point Pleasant, New Jersey, Assemblyman Paul Canatra. Am I pronouncing that? Canatra. Mr. DeSantis. How would I say that name?
I was going to say Canitra.
Canitra, that is it. I practiced it earlier today, and now I screwed it up. Thank God I got DeSantis here. Canitra.
I could be wrong.
No, you got it right.
Okay.
You got it right because Canitra. So you can correct me right before he comes on at 5:30 because I'm going to be tired. Anyway, let's go to our guest, Katrina Smith, who is from Maine. She is a state rep, and she's the assistant minority leader in the Maine House. Katrina Smith, welcome back to the afternoon show here in Philadelphia on 1210 WPHT.
Hey, good afternoon. Surprise, surprise. I'm back to talk about Graham Plattner.
I know, and let me tell you something. They should have listened to you because when we were on the show, and I'm talking like maybe Bernie could have saved himself some grief, and Liz from Massachusetts, she could have saved herself for some grief because you said, basically, as I recall it, and you can tell me, exactly what you said. You were kind of like, I don't think he's going to make it, but there'll be someone else there to take his place. That was, I think, back in May. Am I correct on that, Katrina?
I would say that you were correct. Those were my thoughts. Yes.
That's that they were your thoughts. So we have, and the other thing too is like any state politics, you hear a lot more than what by the time it gets out to the national news, it's diluted or it's a half truth. but up in Maine, I'm sure you're connected to all the gossip and all the issues in politics. You knew Plattner's wife. You coached lacrosse with her, correct?
Correct.
So that's what I mean. You got a good handle on that state. Never mind being you're in the House and people talk, and you probably saw this coming and you knew it back in May. So anyway, this Jenny Rassicot, a former girlfriend. Now, she spoke to the New York Times a couple of months ago, and she said that he had reckless behavior and he wasn't a great guy. And then Politico just a couple of days ago, she comes out with, that he sexually assaulted her. He forced her to have sex, and he was intoxicated. He came into the house. So why has this story now evolved? Why wasn't this said back in the New York Times article? What's your take on it?
Yeah, it's really incredible. I mean, we knew where there was smoke, there was fire, and forever people have been saying there's more coming, there's more coming, there's more coming, and stuff kept coming. Who knew that it would be this big blow up here at this time? But they should have known that something like this was going to happen. I don't know how they could vet someone so poorly. My goodness, I think I could have found out more than they did. But we've known that something was going to happen, and we're looking at a timeline of he has to formally withdraw by the 13th. And then I think it's the 27th that you have to have a replacement for him, or else no one would be on the ballot. If he doesn't withdraw, he would stay on the ballot. If he does, then you have, another week and a half or 2 weeks to get someone else on there. So we had a bunch of people running in the primary for Democrat governor up here. We had ranked choice voting, which was insane. So there are all these other progressives waiting in the wings. They're already saying, I want that spot. They're vying amongst themselves to get nominated by the Democrat state committee, who would have to be the people that put someone up. I mean, we knew this was going to happen. We knew it was just everything was going to explode around him. I mean, some people have said he raised a ton of money because they liked him as this poster boy, and they kept him in there maybe till the very end here to keep raising that money off this progressive agenda of people just pouring money in. And they always knew they were going to put someone in, and now they're going to have a little cash cow, not of their own making, to go ahead and run against Susan Collins.
So, Katrina, let me ask you this. With all those shoes that were dropping, I mean, you started off with the Nazi tattoo, and then the women issues, and then the Porta-Johns. This guy is just had a whole host of issues. Now, do you think, if he was going to run, now he's being replaced, is this kind of giving them, do you think they have an edge now with him? Like, he's taken all the heat, now he's probably going to go. Is this a benefit to the Democrats again to win that seat against Collins?
I think it is. I mean, I'm definitely concerned. Senator Collins is running an extremely strong and hard campaign. She's been out there. She's just amazing for what she can do with the people. But to put somebody in who's suddenly less radical, Graham Plattner got a ton of votes in the primary, more than anyone's ever gotten in a primary in that position. Good for him. But you know what that does is I think that was as many people that were going to vote for him, as many radical people were voting. But now bring someone in a little less radical, and I think it opens up a problem for Senator Collins just for some of the moderate Democrats that have always voted for her. I think she'll still pull it off because of the timeline. That's really short for an election to get name recognition and make people love somebody else. But it is concerning to take away this radical guy who we definitely had lots of dirt on.
Yeah.
We were able to run commercials against him and everything. You throw somebody else in there that maybe isn't that type of person, and you do have someone more palatable to the Democrats who they can rally behind.
Okay, so, I mean, there's a lot of rumors now, like, there's conspiracies about everything, and when any big event happens in this country. So the question, were the Democrats just put the blinders on, or do you think this was strategic? Because there's a lot of different debates out there, but I'd appreciate your opinion. Was this a strategy, or they put the blinders on and we're hoping for the best?
I think that the people that were at his rallies and the people right around him had blinders on. They were just all in love with him But I think the powers that be, the people that held that information, that knew that this woman had this further story, I'm sure they knew about it at some level, that they start to trickle it out and make it happen right up here at the deadline. Whoever gets put in will probably see more of that puzzle, come together. But I think it was a little of both. His people definitely, when they're out chanting and screaming and yelling for him at a rally, they were all in. But they're not the ones that run what happens in Maine with the Democrat Party. There's an elite few who certainly are turning and twisting the tail and making it turn out their way.
That's interesting, but I would, the Dem elites, the ones that I'm familiar with, not particularly in Maine, is that I could see them they think every working class man who is a veteran, and he's like a manufactured candidate anyway, but they actually probably think like a lot of, working class people, veteran Marines are angry rich kids with Nazi tattoos and they're abusers and he's a bit of a malcontent because that's how they look at the working class and the middle class. But I don't want to. Basically, what you're saying, they're a little bit smarter than this, and they had some plans for this guy and used them for how long they could, and now they're moving on. So I appreciate that observation. Katrina, what if Susan Collins? How is her? I'll finish up with this question. Susan Collins, how is her campaign? Does it got energy? Does it have momentum? Is it ready to take on this new candidate?
Absolutely. Really, when I say she has got energy beyond energy, I am being truthful. She goes from event to event. She was 95 degrees in Maine last Friday. She was running down the road, shaking hands with people in a parade. She is up here. She is meeting the people. She is at firehouses and everywhere she can be. She's got a lot of momentum, and she's always straightforward and in a great mood. I really think putting anyone in the Democrat Party up against her is sour grapes. They're never happy, and Susan has brought the things to Maine that we need, and she needs to get back in there, and I think she's determined to, and that'll bring us far, and I think she'll still take it.
Well, a big thanks to Katrina Smith from the Maine House. She knows Maine a lot better than we do down in Philadelphia. Very insightful, and you were very insightful a few months ago predicting this guy might collapse. Thanks for coming on Philadelphia 1210 WPHT.
Thank you, Tom.
Well, men, I think we got the score there. I thought it was interesting that she said, I was just thinking that they were just running with these guys. The Democratic Party was going to just, ride or die with Plattner. And she said, no, it seems that she said the powers that be probably had plans to take him out. Did you get that feeling?
That's what it sounds like. And his polling numbers have cratered prior to this latest allegation, which I bet played a role. And I saw a report, I think it was in the Washington Post, that the Democrat Party is saying that they aren't going to give him any campaign funds, which you think would impact his decision. But at the same time, I think the Dem Party has something like minus $4 million in cash on hand. So maybe that isn't a determining factor.
Well, we're kicking ass right now from the fundraising. All the noise out there is like, oh, the midterms are sunk. The Dems don't have the money back in them so far. And the Republicans do have some good money in the bank to run the midterm. So we'll see what happens. We have Jenny Beth Martin coming up. Should we go to break now or okay? Let's do this. Let's go to break, and when we come back, I might do a little talk, and then we're going to get to Jenny Beth Martin. Our republic at 250 years, the challenge to keep it, and we're going to talk to her about that.
I've always wanted to learn French, but the app I tried didn't help.
If you want to memorize words in another language, there's an app for that. But if you want to really learn another language, there's Babbel. Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different. Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Babbel feels like it was created intentionally by people who really know what you need to learn another language. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Want to really learn another language? Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com to save up to 50%. Babbel.com.
PNC Private Bank knows that anything can happen on the gridiron, and being prepared goes a long way. It's not so different with your wealth. Having a dedicated local team of specialized advisors who take a calculated, disciplined approach to managing your wealth leads to a lot of wins. The PNC Private Bank team knows that just like in football, that kind of preparation is good for your financial game. PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathy Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mary Claire Haver, a board-certified OBGYN and menopause specialist. My new podcast, Unpaused, is the place for bold, unfiltered conversations about what it really takes for women to thrive in the second half of life. Every week, I sit down with medical experts, cultural icons, and powerhouse women to talk about what really matters. New episodes drop every Tuesday. Listen to and follow Unpaused with me, Dr. Mary Claire Haver, available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Ethos.
An EV startup is looking to jolt the market with an electric pickup priced under $25,000. Slate Auto debuted the Blank Slate, a no-frills two-seat pickup truck that has hand-cranked windows, no infotainment screen, and gray is the only color, while there is a 5-seat SUV version that pushes the price to $30,000. Slate Auto expects to start delivering the Blank Slate by the end of this year. I'm Jason Brooks.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free, and you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
My grades were bad. I would get D's and C's.
I appeared to be doing good at my school life, but if you would see me at home, it would have been a completely different story.
I mean, it was just rough focusing on school when your mother is somebody you have to take care of. It got worse and worse and worse throughout the years.
There are students who need somebody.
They can trust someone, and it could be the first person they've ever trusted in their life.
Communities in Schools is lowering America's dropout rate by helping more than 1.3 million kids every year get whatever they need to succeed in school.
If something was going on at home, we would go just stop by Miss Liberty's office and talk to her.
Communities in Schools vouched for me when everyone else had lost hope.
You can help change the picture of education right here in your community and across the nation. Visit communitiesInschools.org.
I hear people say we can't save every kid, but I think that we can.
The very first thing you taught me was to be fair. No cutting in line. Play by the rules. Play by the rules. Don't pick on the little kids.
It's important. It's the right thing to do.
It helps create the world we want to live in. Well, there's something I need to tell you. Kids aren't the only ones that should be fair. Mommies and daddies should be that way too. Every time you go to the store, you have a chance to be fair. To do the right thing.
To make a difference in someone else's life.
It's easy. It's not expensive. And it makes a huge difference. Just look for the Fair Trade certified label on products in the grocery store.
It means that farmers are getting a fair deal.
That their kids get to stay in school. That they can look forward to a brighter future. And we're getting great products that were grown with care. Now that's fair. It's good for our family.
It's good for our neighborhood.
It's good for the whole world. Buy fair, be fair. Visit befair.org to learn more.
I'm glad we had this talk.
Tune in to the Crash Proof Retirement Show Saturdays at 11 a.m. to hear Joanne Small-Canella and Tracy Stillman. The Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturday mornings at 11 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Now back to the Piazza Auto Group Studios. Experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. This is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Welcome back to 1210 WPHT in Philadelphia. This is Tom Azelby hosting the afternoon show from 3 to 6 today, 3 to 6 Thursday, and 3 to 6 Friday. So hope you'll be listening. All right, now we're going to get into, we just had our big 250th anniversary, and believe me, it was a lot different than what happened in 1976. I was a kid and I was around, but believe me, people were talking about that thing a year and a half, 2 years before and 2 years after, because there really wasn't a lot going on back in 1976, meaning you didn't have all the distractions. That's my point. Like, you didn't have a phone that was like a computer that could give you movies and texts and everything. So the culture definitely focused on big celebrations. And it's probably some of the political problems we have, too, with our culture, because we just have a lot of choices today. We can do a lot of different things, but that's what's great about being in America. It's a free country. You can do what you want to do, which is a blessing. And my next guest, Jenny Beth Martin, who just, Our Republic at 250, The Challenge to Keep It. She wrote a great article in the Washington Examiner. And I want to welcome my guest, Jenny Beth Martin, to the afternoon show here in Philadelphia. Jenny Beth, how are you?
I'm great. It's so good to be with you and so good to be on a show in Philadelphia where the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution were both written.
Absolutely. There's a ton of history here, and it's one of the things that I love history. When I came to Philadelphia in my early 20s, I felt really comfortable here, and because I loved well, listen, I was having a great time. That's why I was comfortable. I had my own place. I was young. Life was good, but I do love history, and Philadelphia is the heart of the country as far as the start of it. But before I get into that with you, Jenny, I was reading about you. You were a co-founder of the original Tea Party Patriots?
Yes. Of the original Tea Party Patriots and the modern day Tea Party movement. Of course, Sam Adams was the original Tea Party.
Of course. But let me tell you, I'm very impressed with that. That was a movement that took the country by storm, and you took a lot of hits because, both a lot of people on the right and the left don't like any type of insurgency that the elites can't control. But I feel that the Tea Party created that grassroots movement actually helped build MAGA in a way. How do you feel about that? I know the Tea Party wasn't down with Trump when he first came down those escalator stairs. I remember that. And I think that was more cultural because he was a kind of a brash New Yorker and entrepreneur. And people are like, wow, this guy is not what we're used to. And then never mind the Republican elites were trying to destroy him, and as was the left. But do you feel that the Tea Party gets credit for this kind of insurgency in the Republican Party?
Yes, I do. I do. And I will say this. We endorsed through our super PAC Tea Party Patriot Citizens Fund in 2016. We did initially endorse Ted Cruz.
Yeah.
We polled all of our supporters, went through 4 or 5 rounds of balloting to get to a not just a majority, but a super majority. And it was Ted Cruz. But the last 2 people were between Donald Trump and Ted Cruz. So no matter what, our supporters were supporting Trump even in the beginning. It's just that Trump, compared to Ted Cruz, when you think about what the Tea Party movement had been doing, Ted Cruz had the proven record and was very focused on the Constitution. Donald Trump, as president, we have seen he has done everything he can to help return our country to the constitutional republic, get rid of so much power with the unelected bureaucrats, and make sure that the power resides either with Congress or the presidency, so that we, as voters, have the ability to hold people accountable. And that's the way our country was designed. So he's been a very constitutional and small government president.
Oh, absolutely. And I give the Tea Party, because when you guys took to the streets and you had your rallies, I was like, wow, these people are really, and that was right after the 2008 meltdown. Am I correct? The financial meltdown?
Yes, it was. Let me say 2 more things. We did endorse Cruz, but Trump won the nomination, and we endorsed Trump, and we never, ever backed off that endorsement from the moment we endorsed him, including when Paul Ryan and others backed off from it. We never did. We stayed with him. He became president, and I'm one of the few people around. It's not fair to say the few people around the country. I'm one of the few more national leaders in the country who actually thought Trump was going to win in 2016. Most people did not, but I was traveling the country, going to Tea Party events and seeing the momentum build for Donald Trump, unlike anything I had ever seen before, and I thought he would win. We started in 2009, shortly after President Obama became president. He pushed through the stimulus bill, which was on top of the TARP bill that George W. Bush supported and that John McCain voted for. And people were just tired of government bailouts and government spending and government deciding who would be the winners and who would be the losers. We didn't think that's how our system is supposed to be run. And that's in large part why the Tea Party movement started. I think had McCain become president and he pushed through a stimulus bill, we would have seen the same thing happening even on our side of the aisle towards McCain.
Yeah, but I give you guys. It's timing with Trump was hard. He was like a new ice cream flavor at the ice cream shop that no one had ever seen before, no one ever tasted before. And quite frankly, if you were from the New York area, you might have got him. I kind of got him just because that's where I was from, and I, like you, was like, this guy can take the whole thing. But I do want to stress that thank God for your efforts with the Tea Party, because that was the first jolt into the elite system. Like, hey guys, you better change the game because we're coming for you. And then it ended up changing the game with Trump. So that's why I admire what you've done and where you are today and where you started. So I'm very impressed with that. So let's get into the Constitutional Convention. I did want to get back to that article you wrote in the Washington Examiner. And I'll just set it up for you that there was a local woman. She was Philly royalty. Her name was Elizabeth Willing Powell. Her husband had been the mayor of Philly. Her dad was the mayor of Philly. And this was what she said standing outside Constitutional Hall when Benjamin Franklin came out. She said, "Well, doctor, what have we got, a republic or a monarchy? Franklin's quick response was a republic if you can keep it. So I'll let you take it from there.
Yes, and she was a civic leader in her own right and understood politics and was engaged in these conversations with the founders. So oftentimes her name gets lost in history. I'm sure it does not in Philadelphia, but I'm glad that you're highlighting exactly who she is, because I think that she's very important with history.
Yeah.
He says a republic if you can keep it. He understood from the very beginning that it was going to be a challenge for the American people to be able to keep the republic. And throughout our entire 250 years, the American people have looked at what we have, and we have seen many challenges over these 250 years, and time after time after time, we have decided we're keeping our republic. We went through the Civil War. We ended slavery. We went through 2 world wars. We ended segregation. We made sure women had the right to vote in this country. We've been through a lot of trials, and every single time the American people have done the right thing. Sometimes it takes us a while to get there,
right,
but we have done the right thing, and we have held on to our republic, and we've held on to liberty.
Yeah, follow up to that. So, and a lot of people don't the Declaration of Independence kind of declares our American philosophy. And then the Constitution provides the rules and the structure of that philosophy. That's kind of how I look at it. How do you look at it?
Yes, I think that is exactly right. So the Declaration declares what we did that is different than any other time in human history. We are saying our rights come to us, we are born with them. They come to us directly from our Creator. They are God-given rights. The right to life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. Among those are others, but those they named. And the government exists. The purpose, the mission of the government is to protect those rights. The government doesn't exist to give us those rights. The government exists to protect those rights. And that's in the Declaration of Independence. And they declared their independence. They set forth this revolutionary idea that they don't belong, their rights don't come from the king, they come from our Creator. And they go to war, they win the war, and then they establish the Constitution. And the Constitution then comes in and is set up in a way to make sure that we are actually protecting those rights. And we have the executive branch, which is or kind of like a monarchy would be. Then you also have the legislative branch, which is a bit like what a parliament would be. And then you have the judicial branch. So you have these 3 different branches of government, which are even competing types of government. And they work to have a check and balance on our system. All of that is designed to protect our rights. And it's when you go back and you understand, we learn it, but when you sit down and you think about it and you really just meditate on it and understand the importance of it and go and read founding documents, you realize this is a very special form of government. And sometimes the change that we want to see happen in our country, like a very good example would be passing the Save America Act. It does not happen as rapidly as we want. And then I have to sit back and go, and I respect our constitutional form of government, and it actually was designed to create slow change, not rapid change, because rapid change, as we saw in 2020 with COVID lockdowns, can quickly devolve and lead to tyranny rather than protecting our rights and securing liberty.
There's no doubt about it. Once the left, and I refer to them as the left, once they got power during COVID, they showed you what they'll do with power. But I even take it a little step further with the Constitution. All the backstops, like I believe the federal government it's bloated, it's got full of red tape, and it's spending money, and there's fraud and everything. But even the founding fathers knew to build backstops, and that's where you get into the Jefferson state rights. Like, if the federal government starts failing in certain areas, it falls back to the state, and the state to the county, and then the county to the local municipality. It really, there's a lot of brilliance in the way it's set up with all these backstops. What do you think of that? Because I do think the federal government, it might come to a time where some of their power might, like water, might just move in different directions and states take back some of that power.
Yes, I agree with that. And growing up, I always thought of our checks and balances as being between the three branches. So I thought of it as a horizontal check and balance on power. The more that I've studied this, the more that I've come to realize that there definitely is a horizontal check and balance on the power. There is also a vertical check and balance on the power. It goes from the voter to the politician, or to the elected official. So there's a check and balance with the voter. And then it goes between the county and the seat, and the seat and the federal government. So each of the levels of government are competing with one another and checking and balancing one another. And we've seen that play out in places where we may disagree with what's happening, like as we look at the extreme sanctuary city policies that we've seen in California and New York and Washington State and Illinois.
Yeah.
And we've also seen it play out in states like Florida and Texas, where and even Georgia during COVID, where they are competing again with the federal government and going, no, we're protecting rights here, and we're going to lean into liberty. So on either side of the political spectrum, you still have that vertical check and balance. So that check and balance and power is almost with every branch of government and every level of government, whether it's the county, the state, or the federal, or even the people themselves who are voting. It's a 360 check and balance. It's every direction, and I think it is a brilliant. It is a brilliant form of government that that Benjamin Franklin was exactly right. You've got this republic if you can keep it. And they went through so much, doing everything they could to create this form of government and create it in a way that the people would actually be able to keep it.
And one of the things we were talking about inalienable rights, and we got to talk, and civics being taught in school. And here's a big challenge. Not that there's not a solution. There's always a solution to every challenge. But we have, in order to understand the principles of the Declaration and the Constitution, I think many teachers today, especially in union-driven states where they only talk about certain things in school, the founding fathers could be looked at in a negative light. So are some of the historical players in the country. That I think the big challenge now in so many, like if you look at some of the schools in Philadelphia, or a lot of them, I mean, proficiency is at 30% and 20% in math and reading. The challenge has gotten even bigger for these principles of our Constitution to be taught. And I even think the people teaching them don't know them that well. What's your thoughts on that?
Yes, I think that the last thing that you said, that the people teaching them don't understand them, I think that is exactly right. Somewhere along the way, the education of the educators, so the higher learning institutions, colleges and universities who are teaching our educators to be teachers, stopped making sure they understood our civics and the Constitution and the United States government, and focus more on the principles of how to teach and diversity, equity, and inclusion, and how students feel, rather than making sure that they actually were learning. And so the educators themselves were not learning what needed to be taught. They were learning methods in which to teach. And now we have at least a generation, perhaps two generations, and certainly people who are 30 and younger, who simply have not learned what they need to really understand about our form of government. And there are people who are learning about it, and there are people, of course, Charlie Kirk was excellent at helping spark the interest, and there are many people around the country who are trying to help spark the interest in our history so that they will learn it, because it's very difficult to keep the republic if you don't even know the difference between a republic and, say, a pure democracy. If you don't understand the form of government that we have, if you don't understand the difference in our republic and one that protects individual rights and God-given rights versus Marxism and socialism. And so we do have a challenge on our hands right now that is different than a world war or a civil war, and that is the challenge to make sure that the younger generation learns what they should have already been taught in school, and that those who are in school right now wind up getting that education. President Trump and the Department of Education Secretary Linda McMahon are doing a very good job helping clean up our education system. It's going to take more than 18 months to get it all on the right track.
Absolutely. And I'll give you an example. The state of Florida, I had a big show. I had a guy from the Step Up Voucher Program. Vouchers fixes problems for both public and private schools. And believe me, we need them. And I've witnessed it in Florida myself. I have a student down there. Jenny Beth Martin, thanks for coming on the show today. You're a University of Georgia graduate, correct?
That's right.
All
Go
right.
Dogs.
Go Dogs. All right. Thank you very much for coming on. Go Dogs, and we'll be back after this break.
If clutter is costing you time, fix it right away. Closet Factory designs and installs custom storage for closets, pantries, and home offices. Schedule a free design consultation at closetfactory.com. Closetfactory.com.
This is the sound of Claire, cooking dinner at home. And that's the sound of a fraud alert from Wells Fargo, flagging a charge for a pricey restaurant in Paris. Considering Claire isn't in Paris right now, that seemed odd to the bank and to Claire. 2 taps later, Claire says nope to the charge, and Wells Fargo is on the case. However you make money work, Wells Fargo can work with that.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
As a combat wounded veteran, I know how hard it is to come home and build a meaningful life. I'm LaToya Lucas, and I'm a veteran. When I was in Iraq, our vehicle was hit. A rocket-propelled grenade exploded right under my seat. Traumatic brain injury, a fractured pelvis, severe burns. They didn't think I was going to make it. I had to learn to live with the scars, both visible and invisible.
DAV helps veterans like LaToya get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year in life-changing ways.
With DAV on my side, I was able to pursue my dreams. If my story can touch a heart, it can change a life. My victory is overcoming my wounds so I can help other veterans.
LaToya Lucas, may your victories inspire many more. Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
You don't need another opinion, just the facts.
What caused that crash on the Schuylkill? Will it rain before the kids' game? What happened at the school board meeting last night?
At KYW News Radio, we don't take sides. We take notes, delivering the information you need to make the best decisions for your family.
The news you need whenever you need it.
Depend on KYW News Radio, Philadelphia's most trusted news leader for more than 60 years.
This is Paul Cozy from Cozy Jewelers in Newtown Square. Your wedding band should last a lifetime, so why settle? We're family owned and design every piece ourselves. When you work with us, you're getting quality jewelry crafted with care, and you're working direct with the designer, me. Step up to the 5th seat and get a wedding band you'll treasure forever at Cozy Jewelers. That's color, cut, clarity, carat, and cozy.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Calling on Huntington Valley to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it today.
Welcome back to 1210 WPHT. This is Tom Azelby on the afternoon show here in Philadelphia. I'm going to get into, I'm always bad-mouthing New Jersey. I was born in New York, but completely raised in New Jersey, North Jersey and South Jersey. Though I spent a lot of time in Philadelphia, too. I lived in Center City for 10 years, lived on the main line a while. I'm pretty Philly. For a guy that's from up there, I became pretty Philadelphia. All my kids root for the Philadelphia teams. I do, because I've been here so long. As soon as I showed up here, I didn't want my kids being wearing a Yankee hat. Even though I worked at Yankee Stadium. I started working there at 14. I was a vendor. But anyway, enough about me. I'm going to give New Jersey a little bit of hope because I think it's cooked. I think Pennsylvania is where we can't lose Pennsylvania, but New Jersey's cooked. And I have a whole plan for that. I'm going to talk throughout the week, and I'm going to put our what we call it, the Zillennial Roundtable with my producers, because we have a millennial and we have that Z generation with Justin. So we're gonna talk about some of my plans later in the week. But this is interesting about the free state of Florida. So Andrew Gilliam, no one even remembers this, but in 2018, he lost to Ron DeSantis, Matt's uncle. And I'm only kidding. I don't know if I doubt it's his uncle, but I like saying that. And this will give New Jersey a little bit of hope. 8.2 million people voted in that election. And DeSantis won by 32,000 votes. That's less than 0.5%. It's amazing that happened, because if this guy, Gilliam, who was the mayor of Tallahassee, if he had won Florida, we would have been locked down in Florida like everybody else. That free state thing, all the great things that have gone on in Florida, and it gives me hope for New Jersey, how something so close could have happened, and there was such a big turnaround. I'm not talking about New Jersey becoming a red state or anything. I'm just saying you moved New Jersey back into a light purple state, away from being a hardcore blue state. That's really the goal. You're not getting to the Florida level. But this guy, Gilliam, after a year or so after, this guy who could have been, by those amount of votes, he could have been the governor of Florida, and he got caught in the hotel room in Miami in 2020. He had OD'd. There were male hookers that, thank God, they called the 911 to get the guy taken care of, and then they took him to the hospital. And then the guy was federally indicted in 2022 by the feds, but it got thrown out because he was doing corrupt things back when he was running Tallahassee back in 2014 to 18. So they came after him in 2022. But most recently, just the other day, this same guy that could have destroyed all of Florida and that great free state experiment, he hit a car, drove away. They found him, and I don't know what he blew. He blew something, so they locked him up. But Florida didn't dodge a bullet. They dodged a missile. The whole country dodged a missile, because if he had gotten in there, more Democrats would have gotten into power. Then they would have wielded that power. And I'll tell you this, most of the people, even working class and middle class people that have come to Florida, they think for the right, because their Republican registration is through the roof. So, wow. But they really did. They dodged the missile. And what I was saying before, that's good. So I know I get depressed about New Jersey, and I can badmouth New Jersey. When you're from New Jersey, you can badmouth it. I don't think there could ever be a New Jersey turnaround like Florida, but there can be efforts made to kind of pull it back into that purple category. And if Florida could go from purple to deep red, New Jersey could go from deep blue to purple again. So that's really, and it's not going to be easy. New Jersey is hard blue. Now I'm going to get negative. I'm trying to be uplifting, and now I'm going to get negative again. But chain migration hurts New Jersey, all the chain migration. There's certain ethnic groups that do vote Democrat, and New Jersey gets some of that. The Indians who have migrated to New Jersey. The Dominicans are all moving out of New York City because it's getting too expensive and they're moving out to Jersey, they tend to vote Democrat. And that's why they were so upset when Trump won the Supreme Court with the temporary protection status for the Haitians. There's 330,000 of them. 80% of them, based on data, vote Democrat. So that's why they don't want that TPS taken back from them. But anyway, with that, we're going to come back with our guest. And I was watching Netflix the other day, The Twister, Caught in the Storm. I see Keegan. He's captain of the high school football team. He's now an attorney. But I'm like, I'm just watching the show, laying on my couch, and I go, I want that guy on my radio show. Never mind that tornado scared the hell out of me, and it was an awful thing that happened to Joplin, Missouri. But you're going to get to listen about that right after this break.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for buying gas. That's right. You can earn cash back with Upside just for buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside, and just last year, I made nearly $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get cash back? If you like extra cash, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back when you fill your tank. Use promo code FRESH to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
All right, what's the weather like out there?
It's hot, 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 real hot.
Can you tell me what it feels like?
Were you born on the sun? I said it's hot.
This is Jonathan Cans, third-generation owner of Marvin E. Cans Heating and Air Conditioning. Is this how you're feeling right now? Well, don't let your house feel like a rainforest anymore. To keep your home cool, contact us at marvinecans.com. That's marvinekanze.com.
Prioritize yourself and make your dream of an attractive, healthy smile a reality at PI Dental Center. The professionals at PI Dental have been transforming patients' smiles for over 38 years. Board-certified specialists, Dr. Glenn Wolfinger and Dr. Robert Slough, perform complex dental makeovers with their Teeth in a Day protocol, where dental implants are placed and restored with fixed teeth in just one day. It's time to invest in yourself. For a smile that's monumental, trust PI Dental. Visit pidentalcenter.com.
So much of our lives are online today that it's hard to know if we're being scammed. Keep your online information secure with simple steps you can take today. To learn more, go to CISA at cisa.gov/secure our world.
From ABC News, I'm Wayne Cabot.
I believe that it's time for him to drop out of the race.
New York Mayor Zohran Mamdani joining fellow progressive Bernie Sanders, bailing on Graham Plattner, who is taking time to reflect on his Senate campaign after a former girlfriend accused him of entering her home and raping her.
Politico reporting Jenny Rasenko, who dated Plattner on and off starting in 2019, alleging in 2021 he showed up at her home almost blackout drunk, saying she had been telling him these words like, "No, don't." Rasenko later telling CNN Plattner then forced her to have sex against her will.
I could smell alcohol and I was like, this is different.
Plattner emphatically denying the allegations.
ABC's Jay O'Brien. Oil prices are back above $70 a barrel after Iran fired on more ships in the Strait of Hormuz today. One of them, a Saudi tanker, the kingdom demanding reparations. And just now, the U.S. is revoking its license, authorizing the sale of Iranian oil. President Trump at the NATO summit criticizing allies for not supporting his war with Iran and saying he's dropping the sanctions against his host nation, Turkey, because
we don't want to sanction friends. It's very simple.
The sanctions were put in place when Turkey bought a Russian missile defense system. Bricks have been falling from the former Pfizer building in Manhattan, which is being turned into apartments. 2 steel beams are buckling on the 21st and 22nd floors. ABC's Aaron Katersky just outside the evacuation zone.
The FDNY shut down 42nd Street and a number of adjacent blocks out of an abundance of caution while the Department of Buildings and its structural engineers try to figure out how to render this place safe. For now, everybody is out, nobody is allowed in, and a number of buildings, including residential, commercial, even a hotel, remain evacuated.
You can see the building leaning. Charlie Kirk's accused assassin back in court in Provo, Utah. You're listening to ABC News.
Of all the wireless companies in America, only one has 5 stars in every category from Consumer Reports, and that company is Pure Talk. Coverage, support, value, data. 5 stars across the board. Plus, no service contracts and no cancellation fees. Just phenomenal U.S. customer service on a crazy fast 5G network. Dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to a 5-star American wireless company that won't let you down. Pure Talk.
Ever wonder why you have insurance for your car or home, but not your digital life? Meet WebRoot Total Protection, your digital bodyguard that includes antivirus, identity protection, VPN, cloud backup, and more. With plans for individuals and families, WebRoot takes the guessing game out of cybersecurity so you can get back to living your best life online. Go to webroot.com/protect and get 60% off today. That's webroot.com/protect to get 60% off today. Live a better digital life with WebRoot because peace of mind shouldn't be optional.
Lionel Messi scores again as Argentina beats Egypt, his 8th score in the World Cup. If you pay for a window seat, there ought to be a window, right? That's what a passenger says who is suing United Airlines, and today a California judge denied United's request to dismiss the suit. United saying that a window seat refers to a seat located in relation to the cabin aisle, not an actual window. He's been in the hospital for weeks, the longest-serving Senate leader in history. It's unclear why. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy with the latest from Washington.
Amid a slew of online rumors about his health, some of Mitch McConnell's colleagues now say they've spoken with him by phone. John Thune, who succeeded McConnell as Senate Majority Leader, says the two had a lengthy and substantive conversation yesterday. Republican Whip John Barrasso says his call with McConnell lasted roughly 20 minutes and that the 84-year-old was fully engaged and is eager to get back to the Senate. McConnell's been hospitalized for more than 3 weeks for reasons that still have not been disclosed by his aides.
ABC News reported that paramedics came to his house last month to treat an unconscious person who was in need of advanced life support. Younger people are less trusting of fellow humans than older people, says research at Marquette Law School. The vast majority of those born before 1960 feel people can be trusted. Americans born in the 80s and after believe people generally cannot be trusted. I'm Wayne Cabot, ABC News.
Of all the wireless companies in America, only one has 5 stars in every category from Consumer Reports, and that company is Pure Talk. Coverage, support, value, data. 5 stars across the board. Plus, no service contracts and no cancellation fees. Just phenomenal U.S. customer service on a crazy fast 5G network. Dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to a 5-star American wireless company that won't let you down. Pure Talk.
I'm Shanola Hampton. Every day, millions of people face hunger. Today, I will share with you some of their experiences. I'm stuck between paying for medications or paying for food. John from Maine. After paying my bills, I can buy groceries. It's sad to say, food comes last. Alice from Oregon. I thought pantries were for less fortunate people, but anybody could be less fortunate in a day or even a second. Claire from Virginia. The Feeding America network of food banks helps provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. No one should have to worry where their next meal will come from. Together, we can end hunger. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
WPHT HD WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. Free speech lives here. The WPHT Afternoon Show.
Justin. That is.
Welcome back
Join Tommy on Talk Radio
to 1210. WPHT. Thank you, Newman Price. Okay, where do we go from here? I'm going to go to McConnell in a little bit. I got a lot to talk about with him. And even I'm going to pull in some personal stories about him, but I'm going to do that later. I think it's going to be pretty interesting. But my next guest is Keegan Tinney. And I want to just lay this out for you, why I have this guest, because it's nice to get a little bit away from politics every once in a while. And I'm not really a weather guy, but I'm laying on my couch the other day and I start watching this Netflix show because I like documentaries, and it's The Twister, Caught in the Storm. This is 2011 in Joplin, Missouri. And it's The Twister, Caught in the Storm. That's the name of the documentary. It's on Netflix. And inside, it's not like a Weather Channel show. It's like about the people that were affected by this storm. And there's so many fascinating side stories that I was mesmerized. And I was also horrified about what an E5 tornado can do. And it did a ton of damage to Joplin. I'll just give you a little bit of background before I bring my guest on. Now, my guest was a senior in high school. He was the captain of the football team. And today he's an attorney, and he has a practice right in Joplin. And I'm going to bring him on, but I'll give you a little bit of background. This tornado was 1 mile wide. It had estimated winds of 200 miles an hour, and it's on the ground. This thing is on the ground. In this town of Joplin, it was a city of 50,000. It killed 161 people. I was surprised that there weren't a lot more taken. 1,000 were injured. It passed the south of downtown, and it was only 8 to 10 blocks away from hitting the center of town. But it hit neighborhoods, knocked down the high school, knocked down the hospital, killed people in the hospital, knocked down a nursing home. This was when you watch this, because there's video, it's very scary, very scary. The graduation ceremony wasn't at the high school that day, thank God. It was over at Missouri Southern State University, which wasn't far away, just a few miles away. But anyway, I'm watching the show. I see Keegan, who was the captain of the football team. He's interviewed on this, and he's telling what happened that day. And I found some things that he said very interesting, and that's why I want to welcome Keegan to the show. Keegan, how are you?
Great, Tom. How are you?
Good, good. As you know, I just saw the documentary a couple of days ago. So let's pick up after graduation. I thought you had an interesting story in the documentary, and the one thing is, you get out of the high school graduation that was over at the university, and your dad, he runs the emergency services, the ambulance area, and he's an EMT. Are you right after you've come out of the graduation, or you went out with friends? Give the timeline for you to the audience.
Yeah, absolutely. So after graduation, I have 3 older sisters. My parents are there. They all leave, and I'm, saying bye to teachers and friends, before we go to what's called project graduation that evening, which is kind of an all-night last hurrah with your classmates, right? And I get a call from my dad that says, "Get your ass home."
Right.
And when my dad, at the time is the chief of the ambulance district for many years, you could hear it in his voice that something serious was coming.
Yeah.
So I got in my truck. There was a long line, obviously, to leave because I graduated with over 500 kids. A lot of family and friends were at this ceremony. So I just cut the line, cut through the grass, and I drive on home.
And by the time you get home, and where are you at home? But as you're traveling home, can you see the weather pattern that you're like, wow, I haven't seen this before? You're like, it's just dark and it's just another storm coming through Joplin, Missouri.
No, I'm driving down our main streets in town where all the big box stores are, and I'm running red lights. It's heavy rain. I couldn't see the front of my truck. And something in me just said, get home, don't stop. You know, you could see cars turning on their hazards and pulling into, you know, pizza joints or gas stations or things like that. And I just knew to get home because, you know, home is safety, right?
Yeah.
And so in a 40 mile per hour area, I was going probably 80, 90. I mean, just hauling to get home.
Right. And by the time you got home, when did the tornado hit the town?
Thankfully, it was like two ships crossing in the night because I'm driving down the road and the storm's coming in. It was right behind me. And as I'm getting home, you know, that's when we're getting the initial radio traffic of what was going on, you know, what had been hit in terms of the hospital had been hit and other big areas we knew had been hit.
So, you know, a monster is coming down on you. I understand that some of the people, because there was a giant rain, there was so much rain activity in front of the funnel that some people didn't know if they were driving towards it or getting away from it. Is that true?
Right. Yeah. You think about a mile-wide tornado, and you know, you hit it on the head at the beginning of this. Is the wind speeds were just, you know, really off the charts. And so, you couldn't tell whether you were going in it or away from it or what really safety was, just because of how strong, the winds were and how, you know, rain wrapped and debris wrapped it was. It's not just a little, you know, tornado out in the field. This thing is a monster coming through the town.
And so from a timing standpoint, when you get home, and you only have to be a mile or so, a couple of miles away, where you go unscathed. Is that correct with the tornado? Unlike a hurricane that comes through in Florida, man, it's taking out things in all different directions. But a tornado, my understanding is like you could just be a few miles off off its path, and your house is standing. Is that correct?
Yeah. What's weird is Tom, it can be blocks, right? Even you could have one side of the street completely leveled and then or across the street be completely fine, like nothing happened. But I'll tell you with this one, the big difference with a hurricane is you sometimes get days or weeks notice of one building and the projected path.
Yeah.
A tornado, you sometimes have minutes, right? Because before the sirens go off, it's not, I mean, you know, there's severe weather and you know, what's called weather aware down here. But you don't have that ultimately that much time to plan, right?
Yeah.
The sirens go off, and then that's when you got to make a decision. What are you going to do? Are you going to go to your basement? Are you going to go to the most interior of your house? I mean, when you have one, and I'll tell you this, man, you didn't realize, you never think it's going to be the one, right?
Yeah, that's the human thing to do. You're like, okay, we get these sirens all the time. Well, I'll be fine to get home when I get home.
Right, exactly. And that's the thing is, I'll tell you, this time was one of those ones where it's like, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to get home, right?
Yeah.
You know, I heard it in my dad's voice, I'm just going to get home. And so, you know, albeit the good man upstairs protecting me because I didn't stop that day, I drove on home. And, you know, had I stopped in the path between where the graduation was on the north side of town and where I lived on the south side of town, had I stopped anywhere in that path between, I may not be sitting here talking to you today.
Yeah, no, I get it. And a lot of people in Joplin that day who did survive, but they didn't get to like the proper shelter, and they had to ride it out in stores that had no basements or in ice coolers or their cars. And I want to get to, as soon as you get home and the storms come through, your dad has to go into action. Now, you are 18 years old. You're the captain of the football team. You have just recently gotten training in EMS, emergency services. Like you've taken some courses or got a certification. What I saw in the documentary, your dad's like, get dressed. I don't know if it was a uniform, but let's go. So explain that to the audience.
Yeah, so I came home. I was wearing, you know, a tie and slacks and my graduation gown, and my dad said, you know, get dressed, we're going out. And you know, my dad had been in the service, you know, EMS service his whole life, so I knew what that meant, right?
Yeah.
There was no really instruction outside of that because I knew that meant get boots on, get pants on, and you get dressed, we're going out, right?
Yeah, I get it.
Because normally when you have a tornado, it may take out a barn or a field or something like that. This one, we knew at this point, the initial reports is that Joplin, you know, Metro had been hit, right?
Yeah.
So I get home, again, he tells me to get changed. And at this point, my brother-in-law and I had just finished a 6-month EMT training at a local college here in town. I graduated EMT school a week before I graduated high school. So I change and get dressed. My brother-in-law, who's now a doctor here in town, we get dressed. My sister, I have 3 older sisters, like I said. Both of those sisters were medically trained at the time. Now one is a trauma coordinator here at the hospital, and the other one's a doctor.
Wow, what
so
a team!
All of us, yeah, absolutely. And so we load up. We, again, it's minutes. Really, we're changing, and we get in my dad's work car, and we go to see, to help.
Yeah, and there was something you said in the documentary. I think they asked you the question, like, were you scared or, like in the sense were you frightened or scared when you come on this horror? And you said something that I found very interesting. You were with your dad, you said, so you weren't scared. And I kind of get that. My father was a police officer, in the sense that you're trusting your father, his experience. Plus, you didn't have a choice if you wanted to be scared or not scared, I'm sure. But I liked when you said, no, I wasn't scared. And you must be witnessing something as an 18-year-old that you've never seen before. So explain that feeling.
Yeah, a lot of it now looking back on it in hindsight, I'd probably be pretty scared going out today. But at the time, at 18, you're young, dumb, ready to go. I was with Dad, right?
Yeah.
Dad is
he's the man.
Right. He if he told me to run through a brick wall, I'd do it twice. Right. I mean, that's the relationship, I'm very fortunate that I have with my dad. And so, I'm here. I'm with Dad. What could go wrong? Right. That mindset of, Dad, he's stone cold, he's cool, calm, and collected in that moment, taking charge and, okay, Dad's doing this. I'm doing this. Right. I didn't really know what to be scared of in the moment, if that makes sense, just because, again, I'm following Dad's lead and he's given direction. And, if he was scared, he didn't show it, right? He never sweat. He never did anything because that's just, again, he knew he was the right person to be in that situation. But here's the thing I'll tell you, Tom, is that in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't just our family. It was really the response that Joplin got after it was an outreach from the community, from the United States, and really across the globe that responded to this and answered the call of when somebody needs help. I mean, it really restored my faith in humanity.
No, I get
seeing, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I get that. And what I meant about that family unit that went in, and believe me, and that's a dangerous environment to go in with live wires down. And, here's a question. You show up and you see all that devastation and all that pain that people are suffering, and you come on that pretty early, like almost immediately after it. Where does a crew and the other people, the other emergency services rushing there, how do you triage that? What is the first thing you were doing when you arrive on the scene?
Well, here's what I'll tell you. They tell you after high school, the real world hits you. I didn't think it would take 45 minutes to walk into the real world. And
right after your graduation, yeah.
Exactly. But, it was one of those things. There's so many people that you couldn't just load a patient and go. Looking back on it, we had people that were driving in. I remember a storm spotter had their big expedition car. We unloaded all their gear and we're putting patients in it and giving them directions to the hospital. Stay on this road. 2 miles, then turn right, and you'll run right into it, right? I mean, that's what you had to adapt and overcome and make do with what you have, because we weren't in a situation we couldn't get trucks there. I mean, there were power lines down there. There were buildings across the roadway. And so you make do with the best that you can and triage with, prioritize the patients that are in front of you.
Because I saw the video of what it looked like right after it happened, because it was on some of the emergency vehicles. They had some type of cameras, and I thought of you after the show, like you showing up with your dad and your brother-in-law, and I'm like, oh my God, where do you start? But I guess you just start whoever needs you at that moment. You start triaging and sending them on their way. So that makes sense.
You can't eat an elephant in one bite, and so the way you do this is just go through and really just try to figure out what is in front of me and how can I help this person, and then move to the next one. Because it was just everywhere you looked, there was somebody needing some form of help.
Is there one memory that sticks in your head after that devastation?
I remember standing out, again, this is on a Sunday evening, just graduating high school. And I remember in what felt, like a long time, was merely seconds, but I remember looking off into the west, and the sun was setting, and it was a beautiful sunset after what now is a devastating, thing on our community. But just seeing the town completely wiped off, and the months to follow this, and even, during the rebuild phase, one thing that was weird is driving around town not knowing what street you're on. Am I on, is this 4th or 5th Street, right? Just because your landmarks, whether it be a tree, a bank, a church, a business, is completely gone. And, you lived in this town 18 years and you know how to get around. But after, again, street lights are knocked out and completely gone and wiped off the map, you have to use GPS just to get around your own hometown where you lived your whole life is something that was a unique experience.
And I get that. And as a kid, and you're 18, and you've probably been on your bike up and down every block in the car. Like I could still do that today at my age in the town I grew up in. And the fact that you look around and to get your direction straight, that's how bad the devastation is.
Yeah, you get disoriented by a stranger in your own home, right?
Yeah.
It's the idea of hey, I know it should be here, but just the second guessing of, man, did I go one street too far or what have you? Yeah, it was something else.
So there were some really, sad and tragic side stories, some positive stories, but one of them, there was like a famous YouTuber who his name was Will Norton. The only reason I saw it in the video, but then my son who had watched it, he's 20 years old, and he's like, the famous YouTuber died. And I said, yeah, they mentioned that. And what was his story? Because he seemed to have like millions of people, and this is back in 2011. So we're all used to influencers, but he was probably like a new influencer with a giant following.
Right. His username handle at the time was Wildebeest, and he made videos just doing different things, and we were friends. We went to prom together as a big group. He transferred in like I did coming from a private school to the big public school.
Yep.
So that was his story. He was getting ready to go to film school that fall at Chapman University and start his career doing film. And so looking back now, there's always kind of the what ifs of what would he think of today's, like you said, influencers or what have you, because he was really on the forefront of that before
pioneer.
It was even. Yeah, before that was even called that, right?
Yeah.
I remember we would kind of bust his, give a joke with him about getting paid by YouTube, right? Because you get so many views and all of that stuff. But again, really, you're exactly right. He was instrumental in the forefront of all of that. So, yeah, no, definitely.
And my understanding, you lost your friend. He was trying to make his way home, and the car got blown off into some type of pond or something like that. It's so tragic.
Yeah, no, him and his dad were headed home from graduation. Unfortunately, they didn't make it home.
Yeah.
He was unable to get home.
Well, a positive note was they said Joplin, Missouri was rebuilt quickly and then it beat everyone's expectations about how fast it came back and how quickly they rebuilt the town. Was that part of the culture and spirit of the town? Like, were you surprised by that?
No, Tom, not at all. I mean, I think you saw it immediately after it happened, just like my families and so many other families. It wasn't, we didn't sit around and look at the pile of debris and say, oh, what are we going to do? We got in there, rolled up our sleeves, and really got to work. And again, I think that's a testament of who we are. And I think that resonated with people, again, across the country and across the world, because people came in and said, hey, they're helping themselves. I want to help them. And I think people have a tendency to want to help people who are helping themselves. And in that mindset, in that spirit, I think a lot of that was Joplin, people that are from here really, again, took it on, built back. And then in that same vein, people said, hey, I want to help them. And that really just expedited the whole process. So, no, I'm not surprised or shocked by that because, again, that's just who we are as people being from this area.
And I would think, after something like that, there's probably not one word, but you had to process that whole event as an 18-year-old going forward, from it being a nightmare, heartbroken, losing friends and buildings and homes. There's probably a learning curve to it. There was probably some spiritual moments. If you had to kind of encapsulate, what's the feeling that you have today as you look back?
For me, it's perspective. If you had to pick one word, it's perspective. And the reason for that is you never know what someone else is going through, right? And the idea that it could always be worse. So one of it's perspective for me because, if I want to get up and if I want to complain about not doing something, or it's kind of that mindset, I get to do this. I get to be a lawyer every day. I get to represent clients in my community. I get to live here. I'm blessed to live another day. And so again, it's perspective and not taking anything for granted, because you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. And so all those punchline words you want to use could fill in, because again, that to me is when I look back on it is, perspective can be used for the negative, but it can also be used for the positive in any way that you want to carve it or shape it.
And you're still in Joplin today. You have you're a partner at your own law firm, Dreyer and Tinney, and that's you're still with the town, and you're still providing a service to the community there. So it's an impressive story. You come from an impressive town. And I want to thank you, Keegan, for joining me today. Once again,
go
ahead.
You.
Go ahead.
No,
Keegan.
thanks, Tom. I always tell people we get a bad rap of being a flyover. I encourage people. I call this God's country. So if your listeners ever have a chance to come to Joplin, it's beautiful. Check it out. Don't miss it.
If I'm in Joplin, I'll be coming to see you, Keegan. Thanks for coming on with very short notice. Have a great day.
Thanks, Tom. Bye.
All right, that was Keegan Tinney, and you know what? It's if you're into weather and tornadoes, it's not the most uplifting documentary to watch on Netflix, but it's called The Twister: Caught in the Storm, and Keegan played a big role, and so did his family in trying to get that town rebuilt. So all good stuff afterwards. What Joplin did, and people wrote about how well they responded to such a tragedy. With that, we'll take a break, and we'll be back.
Having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Tasty Cake and summer just go together. Whether you're packing for family vacations, getting ready for summer camp, heading to the pool, or simply stocking up for busy days at home, Tasty Cake has the treats everyone loves. The next time you're at the grocery store, be sure to grab the baked peach pie, packed with sweet summer flavor, and the lemon cupcakes, perfect for lunch boxes, camp snacks, road trips, and family get-togethers. Easy to grab, easy to share, and always a family favorite. Make Tasty Cake part of your summer. Tasty Cake. Accept no substitutes.
It feels like every day there's something in the headlines that could make you wonder to yourself, is now even a good time to retire?
So many people are waiting, and those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
Fortunately, Jim Cipriotti has been helping people get to, through, and beyond retirement for over 28 years, and each week he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti Saturdays and Sundays at 6 a.m., 9 a.m., and 5 p.m. on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Audient Hearing.
An EV startup is looking to jolt the market with an electric pickup priced under $25,000. Slate Auto debuted the Blank Slate, a no-frills two-seat pickup truck that has hand-cranked windows, no infotainment screen, and gray is the only color, while there is a 5-seat SUV version that pushes the price to $30,000. Slate Auto expects to start delivering the Blank Slate by the end of this year. I'm Jason Brooks.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Hi, I'm Judith Light. So there you are. It's flu season, and you're over 65 like me. You're having another busy year. So much to do, so many roles in life to play. But you feel like you might be forgetting something serious. Your annual flu shot. And before you know it, it's too late. It's not just the aches, fever, and chills that last for days and days. The flu can be life-threatening, especially if you have chronic conditions like diabetes and heart disease, which can worsen with the flu. Being active and healthy alone won't protect you. The immune system weakens with age, making you more susceptible to the flu. If you're over 65, ask about your vaccine options, including one made specifically for us. An annual flu shot is the best way to help keep the flu away. Visit the National Council on Aging at ncoa.org/flu to learn more and talk to your doctor or pharmacist about vaccine options for people 65 and older. Again, that's ncoa.org/flu.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Broadcasting live from the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Welcome back to 1210 WPHT. Tom Azelby here on the afternoon show 3 to 6. I'll be here on Thursday and Friday of this week. And we're going to keep the show moving now. And I guess, how many guests have we had? We had 3 already, right?
Yeah, you're a hot start so far.
Yeah, it's a hat trick already. I'm going for my 4th goal at 5:30 with our assemblyman guests. And I'm going to have to work on the pronunciation with Matt. And we go to our little training in the commercial break, so I know how to pronounce a name. Anyway, there was I find this story interesting. There was Pride Night out at the Detroit Tigers game. Are you guys familiar with this story?
I didn't see this until you sent me the clip.
Oh, I did have a clip for it?
I
did.
Yeah.
I did have a clip. It's okay. It's not, let's play the clip.
Cut 17, Justin, if you've got it. Yeah. No,
okay, they're kicking me out because of my shirt.
Okay.
That's Paige.
She was kicked out of the Detroit Tigers game on June 19th, 2026 over her shirt that said Jesus over pride.
Okay, so so this woman goes, I think she's with her daughter and her husband. She's 31 years old, and she goes into the Detroit Tigers game, and I guess it's the Pride Night. It's part of Pride Month. And I'm going to get into all these proclamations of these months. It's crazy how all these proclamations from the government, everyone thinks that, believe me, Pride Month or whatever, there's 10 other things that go on that month too that are considered the month of. And I'll get into that in a little bit. But I did want to talk about this 31-year-old woman getting kicked out with her son and daughter. Now, it was just a sweatshirt, and it said Jesus over pride. And they bounced her for it. They said, take the shirt off. And she said, no, I'm not going to take it off. I don't think anyone would have even noticed this sweatshirt. Okay. You could see it in the video. It's just, Jesus over pride. And there's a religious connotation to that and an intellectual connotation to it. And I'm going to get into that a little bit. I do want to say this, in the Trump era, or that big sports leagues seem to have toned down, their over-the-top wokeness. And a lot of that had to do with the Bud Light thing, how they got beat up, and then Target, when they were selling the outfits where you could hide your junk or something, that a lot of people were not happy about that. And I never knew how much of an economic hit that was. And who even knows if it was true that they had outfits where males could hide their private parts or something? Did you guys remember that?
I do remember that. The Target you mentioned, right?
Yeah,
they were the ones that were selling.
Yeah, the one I got didn't fit. But anyway, they took a big financial hit. But I do think sports have calmed down. And I'm going to get back to this poor woman that got bounced out of the Tiger Stadium the other night. But I will get back to her. But it made me think of a phony phone call I did, a politically incorrect phone call I did to the Philly sales office, okay? And I'm in my office where I work, and I could do these shenanigans because I own the company and I had a business partner. But anyway, we get tickets, and I look down and it says, oh, we got, I think we would buy blocks of tickets and we'd give them out to customers. And then I looked down because me and him and some of the people at the office were going to go, and it was Irish Heritage Celebration at the Phillies game. So I call up and I called up and I said, tonight is Irish Heritage Night, and no one told me that when I acquired these tickets. And I'm goofing on these guys. We were like partial season tickets over. And the sales guy's like, yeah, it's Irish Heritage, but there's a Phillies game. So like, yeah, it's Irish Heritage Night. We celebrate that with the crowd. And then you can watch the Philly game. And I said, well, is there going to be extra security? And are beer sales going to be limited? And he's like, what are you talking about? And I keep rambling on to him that, like, you should really think about shutting down the beer sales at 4 o'clock. And so now he keeps saying, well, whoa. He goes, why? It'll be normal security. There's nothing to worry about. I said, and I'm just goofing on him. I'm not laughing around. I said, listen, the Irish love to drink. They love to fight. And I'm concerned for my safety. Now, this guy doesn't know what to say. And I'm very serious in this conversation with him. I've done phony phone calls before. I used to do them to radio shows, the WIP. Those guys would hate me back in the day, or they did. But so this guy has no idea what he should do with me. So I press him on security and limiting beers, and then I'm worried about going. And he goes, well, listen, hold on. He goes, let me get my manager. So the manager actually comes on, and I explain my issue with Irish Heritage Night about the drinking and the fighting. And if anyone's insulted out there that's Irish, I'm as Irish as anybody, okay? And I've done some drinking and fighting, and so have a lot of the Irish. So don't act like you're innocent. And you hold grudges forever. That's one thing I never do. But anyway, This manager actually comes on, this sales manager at the Phillies. This thing is going on for like 20 minutes, by the way. This sales manager comes on, and he wants to assure me that I'm going to be fine and everything is going to be okay. So I let him, tell me all about security in the place. So in a way, he's a bit of a bigot because he actually is trying to explain how safe I'm going to be, So, because I think I even said, so you are saying it's going to be a little more dangerous tonight. So I got this guy losing his mind. And so at one point, I'm like, I still don't feel comfortable with this. So this guy's head's about to explode. And I make up, this is a true story. The Cleveland Indians back in 1974 had 10-cent beer night, right? So I explained to him, back in 1974, the Cleveland Indians are playing the Texas Rangers. Billy Martin's the manager. And I explained to him that the fans actually were so drunk, and this is a true story, they were jumping into the stadium that Billy Martin's players ran out to protect the center fielder, and the coach of the Cleveland Indians yelled to his players, boy, the drunks are jumping over into the stadium to fight the visiting Texas Rangers, that the Cleveland Indians coach says, boys, grab the bats, we got to go save the Rangers. And the Cleveland Indians come out with their bats to go after their own fans to protect the Rangers. Meanwhile, I'm explaining this to the manager why I'm worried about going to the Phillies game on Irish Heritage Night. And then he's like, well, what does that have to do? That's 1974. We're not selling beer for 10 cents. I said they did a postmortem on that event in 1974, and 90% of the attendees at that Cleveland game in 1974 were Irish. That's what I told him. Now, of course, I made that statistic up. But, oh, my God, that was one of my I loved making that phony phone call. And I felt so bad because both of them tried to kind of be so nice to assure me I'd be safe and my group would be safe that I called them back and told them I prank called them. And they took it. They were good sports. They started laughing. Then one guy started telling me how Irish he was. So it was all right. Anyway, I lost my way a little bit there.
By the way, I saw an insane statistic on 10-cent beer night.
Yeah.
There were 25,000 people in attendance and 60,000 beers sold.
It was a crazy night. They said, this is back in the 70s. They said the Cayuga River was so full of chemicals, it would just spontaneously light on fire. The 70s were nuts. Believe me, I grew up as a little kid watching all the craziness. It was great. I loved it. But anyway, I'll get back to be doing a political radio show now. So I'm going to get back to the lady. Her name is Paige Combs Morgan, who was thrown out at the Detroit Tigers game. Now, her sweatshirt said Jesus over pride. Listen, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to wear, I don't wear like religious things or whatever, but I thought this was so like unoffensive in the sense like who would really care? But the left is uptight. That's the problem. But I'm sure the Detroit Tigers out on the field, they don't care Jesus over pride. Most people sitting in the game could care less that it was Pride Night. That's just how these things go. Maybe I'm wrong, but I like if I go to a Pride game or whatever in this flag, whatever, I'm not even really paying attention. But she's a stay-at-home mom. I wanted to know if she was a professional activist, and she wasn't a professional activist. And I really thought the security was a little bit overhanded or whatever. I don't know what the right word is, to remove her from the game and their 6-year-old daughter. With that, I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk about pride just for a second and what that Christian kind of belief is in the sin of pride and the 7 deadly sins. So I'll bore you with that as soon as we get back.
You know what I love? American-made products, baby. That's right. It's Rich Zioli. American-made products, and that's what you get from Emmons Roofing and Siding. Owens Corning shingles are made in New Jersey. Certainteed siding made right outside of Philly. Provia windows and doors handcrafted in Ohio. And because Emmons is platinum with Owens Corning, your roof comes with a lifetime workmanship warranty. That's accountability on American-made quality from an American company right in our backyard. EmmonsRoofing.com, EmmonsRoofing.com. Babbel.com.
I've always wanted to learn French, but the app I tried didn't help.
If you want to memorize words in another language, there's an app for that. But if you want to really learn another language, there's Babbel. Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different. Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Babbel feels like it was created intentionally by people who really know what you need to learn another language. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Want to really learn another language? Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com to save up to 50%. Babbel.com.
First Harvest Credit Union celebrates the nation's 250th birthday with community, progress, and financial freedom. We're here to help your money grow. Earn 3.75% annual percentage yield on a 15-month share or IRA certificate. Or choose our 18-month option and earn 3.6% annual percentage yield. Discover more options at firstharvestcu.com/certificates, including our growth savings and growth checking accounts. Membership restrictions apply. Federally insured by NCUA.
My obstructive hypertrophic cardiomyopathy kept me from baseball games with my boys. The stairs were too much. With Camzyos, my symptoms have improved and I can be more active again. Camzyos is a cardiac myosin inhibitor, the first in its class to treat adults with symptomatic OHCM. Camzyos may improve your symptoms and ability to be active, and it reduced obstruction in the heart 4 times more.
In a 30-week study, Camzyos, mavacamten, reduced post-exercise obstruction on average 47 units of pressure versus 10 with placebo. Results may vary. Camzyos may cause serious side effects, including heart failure that can lead to death, a risk that's increased with serious infection, irregular heartbeat, or with certain other medicines. Do not stop, start, or change medicines or dose without telling your doctor. You must have echocardiograms before and during treatment. Seek help for new or worsening heart failure symptoms. Camzyos is only available through a restricted program. Before taking, tell your doctor about all your medical conditions and current or planned pregnancy, as Camzyos may harm your unborn baby.
Visit Camzyos.com or call 1-855-CAMZYOS. Actor Portrayal.
Hey, this is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Listen, I know sometimes you worry about coming to see me because you don't want to invest in real estate, because you don't want to deal with toilets, trash, or tenants. I'm going to teach you a way that you don't have to deal with toilets, trash, or tenants, or even own any real estate and invest in real estate at the same time. You want to learn this, so go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com and take a complimentary class this Thursday, and I promise you, no toilets, no trash, no tenants.
Experience matters, especially when you're making an investment in your next vehicle. At Lexus of Cherry Hill, they've built their reputation the right way. Veteran and family owned and operated, and recognized as an 8-time J.D. Power Dealer of Excellence for the customer sales experience. From the refined Lexus RX to the powerful and capable GX, you'll find performance, luxury, and reliability in every model. Visit Lexus of Cherry Hill in Mount Laurel or lexusofcherryhill.com. Lexus of Cherry Hill, doing business the right way. For J.D. Power of Excellence information, visit jdpower.com/US-DOE.
When summer heat hits, the right replacement windows will help your home feel more comfortable. At PJ Fitzpatrick, you get American-made, energy-efficient windows that are beautiful, affordable, and built to last. That's PJ Fitzpatrick, backed by 45 years of experience, thousands of 5-star reviews, and a lifetime materials and labor guarantee. Schedule your free design consultation at trustpj.com. That's trustpj.com.
Free speech lives here with Don Stensland, 10 till noon on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
Welcome back to 1210 WPHT. This is Tom Azelby here 3 to 6 today, Thursday, and Friday. So we were talking about the woman and her 6-year-old and husband tossed out of the Detroit Lion game for wearing a sweatshirt called Jesus Over Pride. Matt flew out to Cleveland earlier today, and he just got back into the studio. He's been on the phone working remotely. but he just got back into the studio, and we got breaking news here. Matt, please, you were out in Cleveland. Did you like Cleveland? You went to the Rock and Hall of Fame, or with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Everyone knows I know everything about music, so that would be the first.
Yeah, well, do
stop.
not expense that, because you went out there to report on what was here. Now you're back. What do you have to report on this incident with her getting tossed out of the Detroit Tigers game?
So the Tigers are saying that she wasn't removed because of the hoodie or its message. She was removed because she was making a spectacle of herself. They say she was walking and posing across the front row, which was camera visible behind home plate, obstructing people's views, trying to get this message on TV. Now, she actually acknowledges that during the 6th inning, she deliberately posed with her arms extended so television cameras could catch the displayed message. She's saying that the dispute, I guess, is whether or not it was disruptive. She says she wasn't disruptive. The Tigers say she was disruptive and she was actively blocking views.
But they did ask her to remove, and we're like putting the case on trial here right now. She did say that they asked her to remove the shirt. So that would be, I think, one weakness in their argument. If it was just being a pain in the ass in front of the camera and not sitting down, but to remove the shirt. So, you know what? We're going to have to kind of circle back and see where this ends up. I think she has a lawsuit, but now after that information, we're going to have to follow this case. Let's put it in our log for the Tom Azelby 3 to 6 log. We'll do follow-up on this. I know everybody is interested.
I will say in the clip that we played in the last segment,
yeah,
you do see her being brazen. Brazen, would you say the word is?
Pain in the ass.
Yeah. When she's like got her arms out, she's like holding up the T-shirt, holding up the sweatshirt. She's kind of making an ass of herself doing it.
So maybe she deserved to get tossed. Like I get it if you wear it and you're making some religious thing and you have it on your shirt, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
They should leave her alone. But if she was out there clowning around and being a pain in the neck, then she's got to go.
And they claim they warned her several times, and that she was only ejected after the behavior continued.
Let's get her on the show, because you know what? We'll grill her. Well, we will get to the bottom of this, because the listeners in Philadelphia deserve to know what went on here. But I will ask you guys a question. Can you guys name the 7 deadly sins? If you can't, I'll just name it for you.
It's like sloth, pride, lust, envy.
Oh, you're doing
wrath.
Good.
Wrath, that's the hard one. I'll read them off, but the fact you said wrath, that's really good. So it's pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, and sloth. Okay, they're the 7, but what is the worst? What is in religious teachings, Christian teachings, what is the worst of the 7?
I hope it's not gluttony, because I had a big lunch.
No, you'll be fine. No, it's pride.
Pride, yeah.
It's the worst of sins. It's putting yourself above God. So anyway, I hope you guys take that home and remember this little lesson we did here. Anyway, so, all right, whatever happens, what can I say? Bo, well, here's a legal thing with her. I don't know if it works, because now you guys have turned this case upside down on me when I wanted to play lawyer. There is a thing called content neutral policy, that all messages are treated the same. That means if you have a message on the shirt, you can't discriminate against, like if someone had a Pride shirt or I Love Joe Biden shirt, and then you had the Jesus over Pride, you can't really, you can't discriminate. But this is interesting, too. She said she was not going to file a lawsuit, because I believe if she wasn't horsing around and being a pain in the neck, I think she had a little bit of a case. And I'm not an attorney.
Yeah, DeSantis said this during the break. He goes, the Tigers don't gain anything from kicking her out just for wearing the shirt.
No, they could have a problem.
Yeah, they would easily open themselves up to a lawsuit for discrimination. So there had to be an actual reason, like they said, she was being an annoyance.
Yeah. And the thing is, she told reporters Jesus wouldn't sue. So she might be a little bit more conniving and clever than I first thought, until DeSantis flew in from Cleveland with all the information. With that, why don't we go to break?
Veterans and active duty service members, when your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to My Computer Career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Hi, welcome to Bucks County Estate Traders.
Hi, we need to fill a big space on our wall.
Something that says, wow.
Oh, of course. Our showroom is full of all styles of artwork and decor pieces. And some of our items have even been featured on the big screen and in TV shows.
Oh, that's awesome.
Pretty cool, right? So when you're looking for a stunning piece of art, Bucks County Estate Traders has the selection and variety.
And I see your inventory is online.
Oh, it sure is, along with the size and price, so you can measure the space and browse at your leisure. It's all at buckscountyestatetraders.com.
As a doctor, I see patients every day who are losing their vision and independence to age-related macular degeneration, also known as AMD. It's the leading cause of blindness in adults 55 and older. Some of us are at greater risk for AMD. If you have blurry vision or blind spots, they can be symptoms of AMD. If left untreated, it can lead to blindness. The good news? With early detection, AMD can be managed with effective clinically approved treatments that can reduce or even reverse some vision loss. Learning that you have AMD can be scary, but there's hope and help. The Foundation Fighting Blindness is researching and developing treatments and cures for AMD. To get your free AMD information packet, contact the Foundation Fighting Blindness today at 1-800-BLINDNESS. That's 1-800-BLINDNESS. Join the fight against AMD, because together there is a cure in sight. From ABC News, I'm Lindsay Davis, anchor of Prime, streaming weeknights on ABC News Live. Pressure builds on Graham Plattner to exit the U.S. Senate race in Maine after an ex-girlfriend came forward to say he entered her home uninvited, nearly blackout drunk, and sexually assaulted her. Calls for his exit now also include fellow progressives Bernie Sanders and New York Mayor Zohran Mamdani.
The focus of today should be to respond to the gravity of what so many of us have read. And I think that the only appropriate response is for the campaign to come to an end.
New chaos in the Strait of Hormuz has oil 5% higher. Iran fired on 3 commercial tankers today and warned the U.S. not to retaliate. Evacuations in Manhattan from what appears to be a leaning skyscraper, as observed by ABC's Aaron Katursky, just outside of the evacuation zone on 42nd Street.
The chief of department for the FDNY said they are using specialized equipment to monitor even millimeter movements of the building and notice that it is moving. So it is not structurally sound. It is unsafe. And until it is deemed safe, this building and a number of others around here are all evacuated.
Charlie Kirk's accused assassin appears to be the person in a video played at a pretrial hearing today in Provo, Utah. ABC's Alex Stone is there.
These images showed who the police are saying is Tyler Robinson arriving on campus, leaving campus, and then going up onto the rooftop. And Erica Kirk and other family members, when the image goes up onto the rooftop to presumably commit the murder, that they left at that time. But even earlier in the video, Erica Kirk was dabbing tears away. His parents, Charlie Kirk's parents, they were crying as well.
A conviction could get Robinson death by injection or by firing squad. There's been a fatal ICE shooting in Houston. An ICE person says officers shot and killed a Mexican national this morning after he allegedly attempted to evade arrest and tried to run over an officer. Stocks closed lower today. You're listening to ABC News.
Of all the wireless companies in America, only one has 5 stars in every category from Consumer Reports, and that company is Pure Talk. Coverage, support, value, data. 5 stars across the board. Plus, no service contracts and no cancellation fees. Just phenomenal U.S. customer service on a crazy fast 5G network. Dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to a 5-star American wireless company that won't let you down. Pure Talk.
Ever wonder why you have insurance for your car or home, but not your digital life? Meet WebRoot Total Protection, your digital bodyguard that includes antivirus, identity protection, VPN, cloud backup, and more. With plans for individuals and families, WebRoot takes the guessing game out of cybersecurity so you can get back to living your best life online. Go to webroot.com/protect and get 60% off today. That's webroot.com/protect to get 60% off today. Live a better digital life with WebRoot because peace of mind shouldn't be optional.
I'm Lindsay Davis. For the latest on today's headlines, be sure to watch Prime tonight starting at 7 Eastern on ABC News Live. Now, more news.
Have you seen Tilly Norwood? She's the AI actress, she or it, set to make a film debut in a comedy meant to show the state of AI movie magic. ABC's Hannah Battah reports.
Norwood was first announced by the production company Particle 6 last year. The actors union, SAG-AFTRA, said they do not consider her to be an actress. Now the studio that made her is producing a film starring Tilly. Titled Misaligned, a coming-of-age story about Tilly trying to become more human. Particle 6 says the film is being designed as a hybrid production with human directors, writers, and editors working alongside AI specialists.
No release date yet revealed. Massive nurses' strike looming for Boston. 4,000 nurses at Brigham and Women's Hospital are set to walk off the job tomorrow. At issue pay and affordable health insurance. 2 15-year-olds are in a heap of trouble this afternoon in a self-driving Waymo. Apparently, the interior cameras caught them drinking and shooting from the vehicle. Waymo police called the police in San Mateo, California, which stopped the car and found them with libations and a gun that shoots water beads. A police statement says all are bad ideas, but says they were smart to use the Waymo, saying driving impaired would have made this much worse. I'm Wayne Cabot, ABC News.
Of all the wireless companies in America, only one has 5 stars in every category from Consumer Reports, and that company is Pure Talk. Coverage, support, value, data. 5 stars across the board. Plus, no service contracts and no cancellation fees. Just phenomenal U.S. customer service on a crazy fast 5G network. Dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to a 5-star American wireless company that won't let you down. Pure Talk.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This is McGruff the Crime Dog, and I need you to help me take a bite out of crime. Counterfeit products are popping up everywhere. If you think buying them is harmless, think again. Counterfeits are usually made with hazardous and even lethal ingredients that could harm you and others. And the money you paid, it goes right into the hands of criminals. Remember, if you don't know where the products came from, how could you know where the money goes? You're smart. Buy smart. Go for real. Learn more at McGruffPSA.org. This message is brought to you by the United States Patent and Trademark Office and the National Crime Prevention Council.
WPHT, HD, WOGL, HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Now, The Drive at 5. 30 minutes of nonstop talk from Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Justin, that is. Join Tommy on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Welcome back to 1210 WPHT. This is Tom Azelby hosting the afternoon show. For a moment there, I always nearly break in before you two get the big cheer, but I feel guilty about breaking in early. I feel it's wrong, so I never do. So, I lose a few minutes I hope you guys appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. So, we're bringing on our guest, New Jersey Assemblyman from the 10th District. That's, I think, Monmouth and Ocean County. And it's Assemblyman Paul Knitra. And he was the mayor of Knitra, Paul Knitra. And he was the mayor of Point Pleasant, too. What I like about the Assemblyman is I find Republicans in New Jersey a little bit stale, lack a little energy, but Paul seems to be picking up the pace over in the State House in New Jersey. So, Paul, welcome to the show.
What's going on, Tom? That's a good intro, and coming on the heels of that song you had playing,
yeah.
I'm pumped up. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, that's how we do it. Once that's Newman Price is our writer here for all the musical stuff, so I love to give him a shout out. And I like that you were the mayor of Point Pleasant. I spent a lot of time in Ocean Beach Unit 3. That might have been gone before. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Nice. Yeah, I know exactly where that is.
Of course. And we were talking about, was a phony story I did about Irish. I'm Irish or whatever. But it is true. In Ocean Beach Unit 3, those little type, I don't even know if you could call them a cottage, and all us Irish from the neighborhood up in Dumont, New Jersey, would all march down there for a week or drive down there with our families. And the Irish had big families, but we all fit in those little units. It was unbelievable back in the 1970s.
That's awesome. I'm only 1/8. My wife is basically half Irish, and they call large portions of my district the Irish Riviera. I've got Spring Lake and Seagirt. You know all about it.
Yeah, the great towns. They really are great towns, and what a great area to represent. I will say that because that's like prime real estate in New Jersey, not from a financial, but just like great places that really show off the benefits in New Jersey. But we're here to, I like your political takes. And you've done
Thank you.
You've done a lot, like those turbines that they were going to build off the Jersey coast. Is that pretty much a done deal now? They're not moving forward on that?
There's one more project up off of very northern, way out past Sandy Hook, where they've actually already put the rocks down and have some of the bases for the wind turbines in there. That's the only one that still has a chance to go. The Trump administration has actually bought back some of the leases, and we fought off the other ones. And it just was a disaster for the state of New Jersey. We pumped billions of dollars in subsidies and preparation for all of this. Also, we could industrialize the ocean, kill a bunch of whales in the process, hurt national security with radar, screw up our fishing industry. When it's like 10 times the cost of natural gas, And it's one of the reasons that everybody's utility bills are through the roof. So I'm glad that boondoggle is almost over. And it's kind of symbolic of a lot of what's happening in our state government, in the state legislature in Trenton. They're just doing a ton of ideological stuff that a regular person, regardless of what political party they fall into, thinks is totally absurd and a waste of money.
Did you ever think it would be this hard to kill insane ideas? That's what always concerns me. Like the turbines, what you just rattled off. It's an insane idea. It doesn't. We have all the natural gas in the world, and this is what they come up with. It's got to be frustrating trying to stop this nonsense.
It is, and look, I mean, group mindthink is a real danger sometimes, mainly because this stuff is insidious, right? When you really dig in and you look at where the money is coming from and who's getting campaign donations, and these aren't mom and pop wind energy companies any more than any other issue is that kind of thing. It's big international corporations that are trying to pad their bottom line and diversify their portfolio, but the average person's just trying to put food on the table and get by day to day. They don't have the time to dig into all this crap and find out all the reasons why it's bad. And they're getting spoon-fed a lot of BS from the politicians, and it's not good.
Yeah, and you're right. A lot of people are too busy living and working that they don't know that they think, oh, this is going to be good. It's going to lower energy costs. It's not going to pollute, and it's all nonsense. I'm just always shocked that insane ideas get as far as they do. But with that said, let's move to another issue, which you've been very on the front line with, and you were down in Delaney Hall in Newark, or up if you were coming from Point Pleasant. The migration issue, the illegal migrants in New Jersey. I hear that the population is 5 to 6%. That seems low to me. What do you see out there?
So we think it's closer to 10%. We did a massive report that it was basically done like an academic research paper. It took months, and we released it about 2 years ago, and it showed that there are about 900,000 illegal immigrants walking around in New Jersey. And it represents about $7.3 billion in direct and indirect costs.
Yep.
That's based on a $60 billion budget. We're actually a couple weeks away from launching an updated report, and those numbers have roughly stayed about the same we're finalizing it now, possibly even gone up a little bit because of the sanctuary state policies that we have. And again, the average New Jerseyan, Republican, Democrat, Independent, does not believe that somebody should be able to skip the line over other people who are trying to do things the right way and start a relationship off in this country by coming here illegally and breaking our laws. And it sets a bad tone. If you come to this country and your first action is breaking a law, you're going to think you can break other laws along the way.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and then you gotta when you're on the right, then you gotta prove that it's against the illegal immigration, not legal immigration. Maybe we even need at some point more legal immigration, but you can't have the thing where you cut in line, you come across, and it brings a lot of problems, and people just they want to feel good about themselves, and that's another weird mentality that I don't get. I'm going to go to a speech that you gave on June 30th, and wow, this got a lot of publicity. And this was a bill by the New Jersey State House that would shield doctors from civil and criminal lawsuits on late-term abortions and trans surgery. Give us a little bit of what you said on the floor, and what your intent was.
Look, it is symbolic of a lot of what we've been talking about, real extremism, as the Democrat Party is getting taken over by these Democrat progressive socialist far left extremists a lot of their legislation gets pushed through, and they introduce bills and they make them as extreme as possible to see what they can slip under the public. So initially, this bill, if you just even talked badly about a quack doctor or hospital doing these surgeries, who, by the way, $1 million for some of these surgeries, institutions making a ton of money. If you even talked bad, you could have gone to jail. And then they amended it down, and then they were trying to bankrupt people who talked badly about it. Or if you told your kid you couldn't leave the house to go get a surgery or do this, that, or the other thing, and it got pared down to finally it's still just another pandering piece of legislation where there's some real financial problems for anybody that tries to stand up to this. And we just had enough. So, I got up on the floor and I wanted to highlight a lot of the hypocrisies in this. And the most important one is this hurts children.
Yeah.
These are 12, 13, 14-year-old kids. Their brains aren't fully developed until their 20s. You don't know what underlying mental issues or past traumas they had, where maybe they had, a sexual assault, or they're dealing with depression or anxiety, and now you're lopping things off because they say, I don't know what I am, or I can't find my place in the world, and it's irreversible. So I went and I talked to some people called detransitioners, which are people who got railroaded into this stuff, woke up, decided, holy crap, my life's ruined, I have to reverse this, and are now dealing with the lifelong detrimental effects of it. And I was trying to tell their story and insert some real sanity into the discussion.
And the cost of detransitioning, we're going to be dealing with that going into the future, because there are going to be a lot of people detransitioning. It is once,
of course.
Once again, it's like it's a little bit. There's insanity across the. What was the reaction? I watched some clips of that speech you gave. When you got down from the podium, what was the reaction of your fellow state House people?
Well, luckily, I sit surrounded by fellow party members, and they were quite happy. I could see across the aisle that I actually had reached some people. In fact, they never vote no. We got one additional no vote from a Democrat. Another one walked out of the room and refused to vote. And then the worst part, and this is indicative of our problems as a state, afterwards we took a little break in between bills, and I had two different Democrats come up to me, one of whom said, as a Catholic, I find this abhorrent, but, I got to do what I got to do. And the other one said, wow, you really made some good points there. I wish I could have voted with you. So I got two of them who came up, basically admitted everything that I said was spot on, but still at the end of the day, they pushed the lever because they don't want to get primaried, and they're trying to stick in their seats, which, who cares if you're in the assembly for one term or 20? Do the right thing for your constituents.
Yeah, do the right thing, and that's got to be very frustrating. Now, your positioning and your energy and stuff. I was saying it before that I think there's a lot of staleness and low energy in New Jersey Republicans. Should I be more optimistic about that?
I think things are changing. I got to be very honest. Okay. I'll tell you, we've circled the wagons, okay?
Yep.
And the caucus is leaner, but we've got a lot of fighters. We had a freshman class that came in 2.5 years ago. There's a lot more people standing up. People that have been there a long time are starting to stand up and do more things. I really think that we are starting to hit our groove. And I think the juxtaposition, the alternative that we present to these crazy far-left progressive Democrats, these aren't JFK Democrats.
No,
these aren't my wife's family, who were all Democrats back in the day, or my family, who were all coal miners in West Virginia. They were all Democrats 40, 50 years ago. This is a totally different breed here, and we're going to highlight how nuts they've gotten and make it impossible for them to get some of this stuff through.
And, that is... when I talked at the beginning of the show that Florida, with DeSantis beating Gilliam by 0.5%, but it changed the whole face of Florida. And when I look at New Jersey, obviously we can't have that type of change, but we do need to pull blue New Jersey, deep blue, into more of a purple. And I know that's not a win, but that's where we have to pull the state back to at least get it looking purple instead of deep blue. And my question is, can it be done?
I think so. I really think so. I mean, you see how there is a line for everything, right? Yep. I mean, El Salvador went down the socialism path, and and finally everybody woke up. Hopefully, we don't have to have people eating their dogs and rioting in the streets all the time before we wake up. And I think we can get some sanity into the equation now. And look, we don't have to win everything back. New Jersey has the toughest governor with the most responsibilities and most power in the country. We get one Republican governor in 3 years from now, and we can make a lot of change, and we can show people a different way, and we can show people how they can do it better. Because it doesn't matter if you're coming from the suburbs or the mountains or a rural area, or you're coming from the inner city. The pathway that Democrats are setting up is unsustainable, and it's really sending all of us down the path to financial ruin and personal ruin.
Assemblyman Paul Kenitra, thank you very much. You give me some hope for the state of New Jersey, and I'm sure you're giving some hope to our listeners who are over there in South Jersey that we can pull a little of this back and make some improvements. I think you're doing a heck of a job, and I appreciate you joining us here on 1210 WPHT in Philadelphia.
Thanks so much, Tom. Great to be on. Call me anytime. We'll chat.
I appreciate it. We're going to go to break. We'll be right back.
Now you can listen to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
This year, America celebrates 250 years. 2.5 centuries of courage, sacrifice, and family stories passed down from one generation to the next. Hi, I'm Nick Mako.
And I'm Adam Baselogger, founders of Legacy Box. Your family's piece of the American story is sitting in an attic or closet right now, trapped on aging VHS tapes, camcorder tapes, film reels, and fading photos.
Those boxes hold moments you can never recreate. Your wedding day, your children's voices when they were little, grandparents coming back to life on screen.
Over 2 million families have trusted Legacy Box. And we've just partnered with the USO to digitize fragile handwritten letters from World War II, helping preserve American history for future generations.
As America turns 250, remember that your family is a part of the American story. Preserving those voices, faces, and moments is a part of your responsibility to the next generation. Don't let them disappear on your watch.
Visit legacybox.com/radio for our amazing America 250 sale. That's legacybox.com/radio to save.
A plane has crashed into one of the towers of the World Trade Center.
The events of September 11th changed our nation forever. As we approach the 25th anniversary, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT is looking to hear directly from those who experienced that day firsthand. Were you a first responder who answered the call on September 11th? Were you in New York City, Washington, or near Shanksville? Share your story as part of our special 25th anniversary broadcast, 9/11 Through the Eyes of, a collection of personal memories, reflections, and experiences from those whose lives were forever changed. If you have a first-hand account and would like to be considered for an interview, visit 1210WPHT.com. Let's remember, honor, and preserve them for future generations. Go to 1210WPHT.com.
You don't need another opinion, just the facts.
What caused that crash on the Schuylkill? Will it rain before the kids' game? What happened at the school board meeting last night?
At KYW News Radio, we don't take sides. We take notes, delivering the information you need to make the best decisions for your family.
The news you need whenever you need it.
Depend on KYW News Radio, Philadelphia's most trusted news leader for more than 60 years.
A well-organized home isn't a luxury, it's a practical upgrade. Closet Factory designs and installs custom storage for closets, pantries, garages, and home offices, built to fit your space and your needs. You'll work with a designer, choose the look, and get professional installation, so the project stays simple and the results last. Start with a free design consultation at closetfactory.com. That's closetfactory.com.
Hi, this is Larry Steinhaus, and I want to let you know that I buy houses. I buy houses from people that may be a tired landlord, maybe somebody who's having trouble selling their house, or maybe someone who needs to sell their house quickly. Well, all you need to do is call 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137, and I promise to answer the phone and help you with your situation. That's right, your house may be cluttered. It may be a house that a relative left you, or it may just be a house you just want to get rid of. 855-939-1137.
Hit the road this season to watch the Birds. Book your road trip with Fans of Philly. Trips are available now for Nashville, Arizona, Chicago, and London. Travel in style with transportation, a pregame party, and game tickets to enjoy the Birds on the road this season with Fans of Philly. The official travel partner of 94 WIP and the Eagles Radio Network. Book now at fansofphilly.com. That's fans with a PH of Philly.com.
My name's Michaela. I joined the Army at 17. When I got back from Iraq a few years ago, I became pregnant and ended up homeless.
No veteran should ever face homelessness. The U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs is working hard to end veteran homelessness by the end of 2015. VA offers programs to help eligible veterans stay healthy, find a job, and secure or maintain safe, stable housing. With a simple call to 877-424-3838, specialists can connect veterans to the services and support they have earned, regardless of their branch or era of service.
My life works now. I got help from VA, and now I'm on a mission to share these resources.
VA is here to help. If you or a veteran you know is homeless or at immediate risk of becoming homeless, call 877-424-3838 or chat online at va.gov/homeless.
Progressive Insurance. Protect your family, your phone, and your furry friends with life, electronic device, and pet health insurance.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT from the Piazza Auto Group Studios. Experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations.
Welcome back to 1210 WPHT. This is Tom Azelby on the afternoon show. I'll be back Thursday and Friday, 3 to 6. And I believe my production team will be with me, or my producing team. Are you guys here both on Thursday and Friday? I know it's summertime. Everyone's doing
we'll be
their
here.
thing. All right. We're going to have a lot of stuff to discuss. That's what I like doing with my producers. I like making them my contributors, making them work a little bit harder than they already do. Yeah, because you got to think, all right, this guy keeps asking me a question or pulling me into the show. I got other stuff to do. Believe me, those guys are busy back there, I think. Quite frankly, I'm so non-technical, I have no idea what they do back there.
I just hope we have something to contribute.
No, please, come on. You're a walking think tank, Matt.
That
You are the Heritage Foundation, living and breathing, believe me.
I'm going to pull this clip and I'm going to play it over and over
There
again
you
to
go.
boost my self-esteem. Thank you, Tom.
And Justin is the Justin is from that Generation Z, where they're technically adaptive, they're creative, they're pragmatic. I'm complimenting you guys just because I want you to really give me 100%. Anyway, let's talk about Senator Mitch McConnell. Always to me an odd man. Seemed to, he seemed to be effective at, many things over the years, and some things not so effective. But definitely an odd duck. That's kind of someone would say he was an odd turtle. Did you ever know they called him the turtle? That was his nickname. Is that true?
He does kind of look like a turtle.
He's starting to look like a shellless turtle now. Like he lost the shell. And I shouldn't say that because he's in bad medical condition. And I would have said that. I would have preferred to use that comment when he was healthy. But anyway, he's not doing well. But this is what I find interesting, and we're going to just run through this. On June 14th, he had a cardiac arrest, and they now say he's still in the hospital and he's improving. But what I found interesting, on June 17th, his wife, his longtime wife, Elaine Chao, she's 73 years old, and McConnell's 84. She was born in Taiwan. She was Trump's Secretary of Transportation for 4 years. But on June 17th, she flew to China to meet with the vice president of China 3 days after the senator threw a pretty big cardiac arrest event. I just thought that was odd that she would cut out of town so quick. But I don't know. I don't know the reason. I'm making an observation. The other thing, her parents, Elaine Chao's parents, they fled China when, the whole Shanghai Czech was fighting the commie Mao, and then he ran to Taiwan. But her family fled to Taiwan also, and they built a huge shipping company. So when Trump made her the head of transportation, people were like, oh, what, is he trying to do McConnell a favor by putting in his wife? But you know what? Her family, and she grew up in a family that understood transportation. They're a giant shipping enterprise that was shipping all over the world. And they have which I found interesting, is her family's business has deep ties with the mainland Chinese communists, because you always think that it's such opposition between China and Taiwan. But I read a little bit that there's a lot of interconnected business between Taiwan and China, where they do business every day. And maybe that's the reason she ran over to meet the vice president of China 3 days after Mitch's heart attack. But I just thought it was kind of odd timing. Anyway, and here's another thing. She doesn't play a day-to-day role in the Foremost Group. That's the name of the family business. But she is a political expert. She's a transportation expert. She went to the Harvard Business School. So, she's a woman that has the credentials or gravitas in that world. Oh, you know what? Oh, did you know you remember the story about her sister? You guys, this is a terrible story. So her sister's name was Angela. She was 50 years old in 2024. She was the president of this big shipping industry. Obviously their parents are either gone or very, very old, but it's a big family business. But her sister was 50 years old in 2024, and I'm going to tell you, it's a horrifying story. She was at a dinner party in Austin, Texas, at a friend's home. She had been drinking because when she had been drinking, and she backed her Tesla into a pond that was on the property. And she was actually able to call her friends from the inside of the car from the dinner party. This wasn't a business thing. This was, friends in Austin. And because, when you're in a car, we've got those tools in the car now, we give them to the kids. But once the water pressure, and this always scares me, I've always been worried about slipping off a road or a family member and the car flips in water. You always have to be prepared for that. Anyway, she goes into the water. She actually calls for help from the car. She cannot break the windows because it gets pressurized. That's why they tell you to open the door right away, to try to get out. So she's in a bad way. She would end up dying in that car, and it took them an hour to get her out. But it just a very sad thing. She had a 12-year-old daughter, and I thought and Mitch McConnell and Elaine, his wife, who were older. This is just a couple of years ago. This sister was a lot younger than Mitch's wife, Elaine, much younger. They took the 12-year-old under they're her legal guardians. So a really sad story, but tragic things happen every day. There's no but in there. It's just a terrible story. Her autopsy did say that she was pretty intoxicated, but I don't know if that would have saved her if she was sober. If she was sober, if she would have got out, I don't know if it would have happened at all. But, she might have been doomed regardless. But it was a terrible story. So anyway, we're going to get back to Mitch. He's still in the hospital. He's supposed to retire in January 2027. And McConnell should have gotten out earlier. We were ragging on the Democrats with Joe Biden every day, and then who was the older woman senator?
Dianne Feinstein.
Oh, my God. She was in such rough shape. Never mind her driver was a Chinese spy. But she was one of those people that kept hung in there way too long, and Republicans gave him a lot of grief. And I said as soon as, Mitch was due to retire, he should have retired a lot earlier. I mean, going back to 2023, he had that freezing issue. So what's going on in Kentucky politics right now? Which Mitch McConnell, there are two candidates down that are running for his seat. One is Daniel Cameron, and is the Republican, and then Allison Ball, she's a Democrat. The polls say Cameron is the big favorite. He's got a double-digit lead. Politics is an ugly game, and we were just talking, me and Matt and Justin were talking about all, as Trump stays longer into his term, all these people that have gripes against Trump, they're going to get braver and braver as he becomes closer and closer to a lame duck. But Cameron used to be like a protege of McConnell, and they had a really good personal relationship and a professional relationship. And that all fell apart because Cameron started distancing himself to supporting Trump and questioning McConnell's vote. So McConnell is going to stay to the very last minute. Regardless if it doesn't seem like it's going to have any effect because it sounds like this guy Cameron's going to win anyway. But here is if something was to happen to a Mitch immediately, they'd have a special election. And what some people are saying, and I don't know if this is true, this is just the rumors out there on social media, that Massey could jump in as an independent. Now, you guys got any thoughts on Massey jumping in as an independent?
I mean, he couldn't even win in his own congressional district, so I doubt he'll win statewide.
Yeah. Is it possible that he jumps in? I'm trying to think if you played it out like a chess game, like could he pull Republican voters away during the election to like being so spiteful? I'm saying this guy, listen, I'm not a fan of his. I always thought he was an odd little man from MIT. Thank God you went to Harvard, not MIT. But I thought there was something off about him, that he was, listen, at some point you got to play to win with your team, all right? And if you're in a bar fight with your friends, you got to start throwing punches together, even if you don't completely agree that you should be in a fight. But this guy always seemed to me that he was out on, and he's only kept proving it and proving it. So my question is it possible that he enters as an independent just to wreak havoc and get revenge against MAGA and not MAGA, because parts of MAGA love him deeply, the insane part, but that's my opinion. But I don't know.
Like a Ross Perot type thing?
In the sense that he does it because Massey, he got knocked out. He lost by 10 points. It was a pretty embarrassing thing. Does he come back to create trouble? What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, the perception is that Kentucky is a bright red state, and it kind of is, but they do have a Democrat as governor, Andy Bashir. So if he did run, if he did run as an independent, I think Massey could probably siphon a sizable chunk of that Republican vote, and it could be problematic, sure.
That would be the ultimate, and I'll use initials, F. No, that would be, man, if he does that. And, I always wonder how Andy Bashir won in that red state. They said the guy he ran against, they said people hated his personality.
I think Bashir's father was governor at one point as well. And apparently, the Bashir family is Kentucky royalty. So that he kind of had a leg up.
And I think the other guy was a lot of people didn't like personality plays a big role in politics. People didn't like him. Even Republicans didn't like him much, whoever that guy was who he ran. But, I mean, Massey could be running as a chaos agent. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was Daniel Cameron. I agree with you on Massey, too. I like some of what, like the libertarian in me likes that he
So am I.
wants
I get
a
it.
limited government, but he's kind of gone off the deep end recently. He's way too anti-Israel, and he's a complete isolationist when it comes to foreign policy. And I think I'm pretty happy that he lost that House race.
And you start to wonder if he has his, I think he's a big self-interest guy. And I'll tell you when I first started thinking he was an MIT weirdo, like, that engineer brain, not like our creative brains that sit here, like our artist creative brains, my business, I had engineers that worked for me, and literally their brain only operates on one side. Is that the right side or the left side? I forget which one is the creative and which is and like, you never want to bring them into a sales meeting with a client. You only want them to like kind of fix the problem, technology problem, but because they only think one way. But anyway, Massey did that photograph at Christmas with him and his kids and his wife, who sadly passed away in her sleep, where they were all holding AR-15s. Did you ever see that Christmas picture?
Yeah, it's strange.
What strange? Like, listen, I'm pro Second Amendment. I'm a gun owner, but like, I'm not lining up my kids with all my weapons. All right, it's just odd for a congressman to do something like that, and that's why when I saw that picture. Not that I was offended. I don't care. I was kind of like, oh, he's got some cool AR-15s. He's got a 30-30 there, but very odd. That's a peculiar thing.
Yeah, for sure. And there's a bunch of like weird little things that he's done, because there was an anti-Semitism resolution that was put to a vote in the House in 2022, I believe.
Yeah.
And he was the only House member that voted against it, which is why I think his anti-Israel rhetoric kind of borderlines on anti-Semitism sometimes.
Well, he's consumed with AIPAC. Matter of fact, when his wife died, I was following certain political circles on social media. They believed AIPAC killed his wife. Like, listen, that's that's everything turns into some crazy conspiracy. They even remember trafficking. You remember the guy? He was the Democrat out in Ohio. He went to jail. He died in an accident in his barn where a tractor fell on his chest. They were saying AIPAC killed him. The guy hadn't been in office for 20 years, and I'm reading online and these are some MAGA people that the AIPAC guys, the lobbyist guys, went in there and threw in his barn late at night on his chest while he was working on it. Freaking some crazy, crazy stuff out there, but it does make politics entertaining. And Massey and McConnell were never friends.
No.
There's a lot of Kentucky's got some interesting politics. That's for sure.
They're both crucial votes. Right now, I don't know how closely anyone is following this story, but Mike Johnson claims he's going to try to pass the SAVE Act, or at least a portion of it, in the budget reconciliation bill, which would only require a simple majority in the House and Senate to pass. The problem is, as you mentioned, Mitch McConnell has been in the hospital since June 14th.
Yeah.
Thune and Barrasso, they've both said they've spoken to McConnell and he's dialed into what's going on. I'm not sure I believe that.
Yeah.
But even if it's true, the Senate doesn't allow for proxy voting. So, and it doesn't sound like McConnell's going to be on the Senate floor anytime soon.
No.
So even a simple majority might be difficult to get. The House is a disaster for the same reason. They've basically got a zombie Congress at this point, because the majority in the House, I believe, is 219 to 212.
Right.
But there's attendance issues because Republican members are retiring. Some of them are angry about being defeated in primaries, and they're just not showing up to work. And I think last week there was a vote where 7 Republicans missed it entirely, which completely negates the Republican advantage in the House, which means they basically can't pass anything. The Senate, you've got McConnell, who's presumably not going to be able to vote anytime soon. So although you got the 53-seat majority, I think it's 53-47 right now in favor of Republicans. But Bill Cassidy and John Cornyn, are they going to vote in favor of anything that helps Trump after he actively supported their primary opponents? Probably not.
No.
And then Tom Tillis in North Carolina is retiring. He's flat out said that passing the SAVE Act is ostensibly a waste of time. So I think even with majorities in the House and the Senate right now, Republicans are going to be hard pressed to pass anything, even if they do somehow get a portion of this SAVE Act approved for reconciliation.
Yeah, we are moving. Once Trump, the closer he gets to that, he's getting into that lame duck phase, and then everyone with a political gripe, even on your own team, is taking pot shots.
Cornyn has been nothing but antagonistic towards the administration since Paxton won the primary.
Yeah, they've got problems.
They got problems. With that, we'll go to break, and then we'll be back.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathy Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
Feel the power of the Acura Integra. You control how you move with its integrated dynamic system. Take the wheel of the ADX with available premium Bang & Olufsen sound. Experience the power of the MDX together with space for 7 passengers. But why keep talking? Experience performance that speaks for itself. Acura.
Visit Piazza Acura of Ardmore, Reading, or Westchester for a test drive today.
Hurry into the Acura Summer of Performance event happening now.
This is a test of the emergency alert system. This has been a test of the emergency alert system.
Jim Cipriotti at Retire Ready Financial Group doesn't need Google to know you're worried about retirement. Between inflation, rising taxes, and the uncertainty about Social Security, he understands. That's why he offers a complimentary retirement second opinion. It's a no-obligation meeting for you to talk about your concerns about retirement. You want to know if you're going to be okay? Let's find out. 610-894-7415 or go online, retirereadyfg.com.
Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, NPN number 2083768.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathy Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel yet? Not yet. Do it today. Okay. At 1210 WPHT. WPHT.
I am here because Washington needs fighters, and Graham Plattner is the fighter we need. You bet. I said to myself, that's my kind of man. Because that is a man who not only has the values, but a man who believes in accountability. And we need a little accountability coming out of Washington right now.
You bet.
We need Graham Plattner to come in and get rid of the corruption in Washington. Time for new laws.
Oh, wow. Liz. Wow, you're going to, you know what? Liz, we got more bad news for you. I hope you're listening up there in Boston. Or she'd have to be streaming this. I'm sure she is.
You know what? I could hear this station when I lived in Cambridge at night randomly.
Yeah. No, this has a big signal. I understand that you can hear it on a cold night and out on a highway in the middle of nowhere. So Matt, we're hearing that there is more bad news breaking recently during the show on Plattner?
Correct. The Washington Post has a new article out. This is an ex-girlfriend. Her name is Lindsay Fifield. She's alleging that Graham Plattner, I'm going to phrase this as best I can, had a habit of removing protection without her consent while they had sex,
Really?
which is a form of sexual assault in, I think, most counties. So he's got problems. That clip from Elizabeth Warren where she's touting his values,
yes.
Probably need to rethink that.
Not going to age well,
No.
as
I
they say.
I could hear the Curb Your Enthusiasm
Yeah.
just going.
It's, this guy is, anyone who would size this guy up from the beginning, he was total AstroTurf, manufactured. He was a rich kid, went to an expensive prep school, and he got bounced out. He to me, and then with the, we all know his past, but there is some real malcontent sociopathic traits to this guy. And the Democrats just, I don't know, what we talked to Katrina Smith. She kind of covered it already. But this is more bad news breaking for them, which is not good for him. And it's not good for Elizabeth Warren. It's not good for any of those people who were saying, this is the guy. And this, what the excuse was with some people? And it's such bigotry in a way, like class bigotry. A lot of people like this have gone through really bad times. That is such bigotry about, first of all, he wasn't a poor kid, but they were acting like he was a working class guy, and that you got to kind of accept these kind of flaws. It's a demented mentality. But has he even resigned yet? Have we gotten the resignation yet?
No, there's. I think it was in the New York Post. They were saying that he doesn't want to step down unless he can handpick his successor, which that seems unlikely.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you one thing. He knew all the stuff they had against him. One thing, he's got big balls. There's no doubt about it. Now he's demanding who he's going to pick as his successor.
Ro Khanna has come out and endorsed Troy Jackson, who is a former state Senate president.
Yeah.
He ran in the primary, I believe, for a short period of time, but didn't have any success. Janet Mills, I think, would probably be their best bet. She got 19% in the primary, despite having dropped out like 3 or 4 weeks earlier.
It seems like she's been waiting in the wings through all of this.
I would imagine she'd be Susan Collins' toughest competitor since she's already won statewide in Maine prior. Twice. I think she's been elected to governor.
Well, our report from Maine said this could be a negative for Susan Collins, but she is prepared to deal with what she has to deal with. I'm going to make a little prediction here that no one's going to probably agree with me, and I'm going to bring it back to Philadelphia. You got Krasner threatening to hunt ICE agents. He said that in March 2026. In April 26, the mayor, they passed all these bills to get ICE out of the city. And Sherelle Parker, listen, she's done a pretty good job on crime, but she's signing in all these anti-ICE things. She's a woman of the left, but she hasn't been full insanity. But she'll probably be the mayor until 2031. But my guess, after seeing the Pennsylvania 3rd District for Congress just elected Chris Rabb, who's a Democratic Socialist of America, this thing is growing. In the end, I agree with Rich Zeoli, who's coming up at 6 o'clock, that the DSA is going to be helpful for Republicans in political battles. But that doesn't mean they're not going to win in these blue districts. But I could see the city of Philadelphia having a socialist mayor, a Democratic socialist, because all these cities, their only option with their demographic is to go left. And I could see in 2031 a DSA mayor here in Philadelphia. No one wants to hear that, but I could see it. People say, oh, no, the Democratic machine in Philadelphia is too strong. But the demographics change, and the people that are coming to Philly, and I'd bet the other way. That would be my bet. I'm being told that it's a long shot, but that's how I would bet. I wanted to get into, and I'm not going to have enough time. I wanted to talk about, with the deportation numbers. A lot of people that we've closed down the border, and I had a very, very close source to the illegal community. They used to go back and forth all the time. But now that the border, so that's why so many leave. They got to go home for weddings, for death. They just don't like it and then decide to come back 6 months later. That's all over now. So these self-deportations are a lot bigger than people think. Some believe that Trump is exaggerating it. My contact into that community, which was very, very close, the amount of people that used to go back and forth can't do it anymore. So a lot of people have to leave for whatever personal reason it is, and they can't get back in. So with that, I'll be back with you on Thursday from 3 to 6, Friday 3 to 6. Justin, Matt, and me back here Thursday 3 to 6. We'll see you then.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at EnduranceWarranty.com. Auto repair bills are through the roof. $3,000 to replace the transmission. $4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all out of pocket. You need an Endurance Auto Protection Plan. No matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done at the certified mechanic of your choice, and they're paid directly with no middleman. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement. A $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again, so call now for your free quote. Call 800-453-2609. 800-453-2609. That's 800-453-2609.
I'm David Ortiz. When I lost my mom, she was only 46. And I lost my dad to cancer. It was the worst pain I ever felt. It made me think, what will happen with the people I love when my time is up? That's why I have life insurance. Ethos makes it easy. It's all online, take about 10 minutes, and you can get up to $3 million in coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid testimonial. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
Hi, this is Dave Barlow from Barlow Buick GMC in Woodbury, New Jersey. Baseball season is heating up, and so are the savings here at Barlow. The All-Star Buick GMC lineup is waiting for you. Leading off, the powerful GMC Sierra, built to knock expectations out of the park and be the MVP of every road trip. Visit Barlow Buick GMC this summer, where honest pricing and dedicated service are always part of the lineup, or shop 24/7 at barlowautogroup.com. Buick, exceptional by design. GMC, we are professional grade.
Looking for an auto repair shop you can actually trust? McCullough's Auto Repair has been serving Delco since 1999. They believe honesty, fairness, and friendly service still matter. Chuck and Ralph run the place. No matter your car's issue,